promoting the initiative. Professor Ismail Akbani acted as a consultant at Wadwani Entrepreneurship Network and former head of incubation linkage at Symbiosis Technology Business Incubator. He has engaged closely 100 startups and also received many honors from HUM Foundation of contributing to promoting the entrepreneurship among the youth. They have been delivered many lectures, including IIT Mumbai, IIT Goa, IIT Kanpur, IIT Hyderabad, and has also organized symposiums on innovation council at Rabindranath Tagore University, and also took part in a Hong Kong startup Fest, Team Work, B-Web, Webstar, Collaborative Summit, and received many grants from Government of India. Professor Ismail also a community leader and a global facilitator for a startup weekend. Ismail holds an M.Tech in design and an MBA in business analysis and a diploma from entrepreneurship from EDI. He is also pursuing PhD in business model innovation for a cultural entrepreneur from IIT Delhi. May I request Professor Ismail Akbani to deliver his lecture on business model canvas. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Am I audible and visible? I hope so.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. So now one weird request I know this program has been going on for past few days, and after 2-3 days we kind of get used to just going on a listening mode. But we are all I've been told that we are all teaching fraternity over here, right? And when you go to a classroom, we it's very you can understand that it's very difficult and challenging for someone to just speak to a blank screen, right? So just a humble request is that if you can turn the cameras on so that I feel that I'm actually talking to people, not a blank screen. Otherwise, I could have just recorded a YouTube video and sent across to everyone. Right? Good. So at least when I go to these days, actually, I've stopped doing a lot of online session. I don't do online session. When they create the moment there's an online session, I say no, because typically in online session you go, there's a blank screen. There's only one coordinator on the screen, and feels you're talking to that coordinator only, and everybody is just on doing something another. But when they reached out to me, they said, no, we want you to do a session. I could not say no. But good. I hope at least you guys will empathize with me, understand my problem. So, and I hope that the cameras won't turn off halfway through. Right? If I can show my face, I think most of you are much smarter and good looking than me. So you can definitely show your faces. Right? And it now it gives me a feeling that yeah, I'm talking to actual human beings. Good. So good morning. So a couple of things, ground rules, of course. I started as a faculty master, so I've been, and then I moved on to incubation. And now work with the incubation center. I don't teach much anymore with the students primarily. Most of my engagement is with startups and faculty and corporate training and all. But a few ground rules, if we can set, if you guys help me, are you guys with me? Right. So let's set up, because otherwise what will happen? This will end up becoming a monologue where I'll go on a one side dialogue, 1 hour and I can keep speaking. And once I get into the track, we teachers have this habit that once we start talking, we forget everything else around us. Right. Then I won't even care how many of you are going into coma by the end of the session. And I don't want that to happen, because I want the Bamo people to call me again. And I don't want that your coma on my hand. So one is, let us try to make this a little bit interactive session. I know online session is very challenging to make it totally interactive, but we'll try. And being with all faculty members here, all the teaching fraternity, I hope that you will understand that you walk into a classroom, and if nobody is responding, if you are the only one speaking and nobody is giving any response, then it becomes, it sucks down your energy. You cannot perform your best, right? So I think the same will happen here. The more energy you show me, the more interactive you are, the more I'll be able to talk. Otherwise, I'll pretend I'm just talking on a podcast and I'll go ahead doing that. Okay. So let's start. I want the chat box very active. You can unmute anytime if you want to ask a question, which I doubt will happen because teachers are very reluctant to ask questions. We always we go to a classroom and we want our students to ask us questions, but when we become students, we don't ask questions because we have that image to maintain. How can I look stupid by asking a question in front of other teachers? But we are all in the same boat here. Everybody who's attending this session is on the same boat. So nobody's an expert here. Even I'm not an expert. I'm also learning. So there's nothing like that. I'm a student. Or I'm an expert. We are all on the learning journey. So please feel free to ask questions anytime you need. Okay. Okay. Suddenly the camera out of 12, 13 cameras, half of the cameras are gone down. I don't know. I hope by the end of the session, at least few faces remain on the screen. I'm going to be sharing some templates, some workbooks maybe, so that if you want to take this content ahead or how do you apply this to your life, the entire concept, or how do you want to go ahead and teach. But I'm very, very, very rude that way. I don't share those resources with everybody. So I'm going to be sharing those at the end only with the people who have been on the camera throughout. And I'm going to take screenshots. Already taking screenshots. I'm going to individually write to the coordinators that send me the email IDs of these people, and those people I'll send email details. Now, if they want to share it with others, that's their problem. But ideally, I don't want it to be shared, because I want those resources only to be people who are really interested participating. Okay. So, are we ready to start? Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we start, how
Yes,
how
sir.
is this entire program being so far? Just quick feedback. I want to understand how is this been so far? So all of you are from across the country, or only from Maharashtra or Marathwada region? I'm trying to understand. Where is the audience from? S- s-
Sir, I am from Sikkim, sir.
Oh, somebody's from Sikkim. Interesting. Okay. Anybody outside Maharashtra?
From Tamil Nadu, sir.
Okay. You have somebody from Tamil Nadu as well. Okay.
From Kerala.
Okay. Interesting. So we have people across the country over here. Good. Nice. And all of you are university teachers or what? I think most higher education, right? All university faculty. How
Yes,
many
sir,
of
faculty, sir.
Okay, how many of you have been into teaching something related to management or entrepreneurship? Anybody who in some ways taught some subject related to entrepreneurship, business management, principles of management, something like that? Anyone here? Basic management. Yeah, I'm just trying to understand that, what level the participants are coming on. So according, otherwise, I don't want to go too basic and make you feel that okay, we already know this, and I don't want to go too high level and then you'll not be able to relate to it. Okay, so we have very few people from management. I think mostly not. Interesting. So the topic we're going to talk about today, and this entire program is about startups innovation. Right? How many of you are interested in the entire topic of startups and innovation? That yes, I'm interested. I want to do something about either as a teacher, or I want to do my own business at some point of time. I want to have my own startup, or I want to teach entrepreneurship, or I want to mentor my students. I want to encourage my students to become entrepreneurs. I want to become mentor for other startups. How many of you are there? Just let me know. Right? Good. Because so I started as a teacher, so I can relate to you guys. I maybe 15 years ago, I was in the same place where most of you are right now. And just to give you a quick background. So I'm a mechanical engineer by graduation. My basic education is mechanical engineering. Then I did my master's again in design engineering, and then I did an MBA as well. And I started as a mechanical engineering professor at Symbiosis Pune. And then, but I come from business family, so I had that inclination towards business always. And slowly, while I was teaching engineering, I felt that I was not very happy teaching that at some point of time. And so slowly, I moved on to teaching design. I started teaching innovation. I started teaching entrepreneurship, and I started realizing that that was so much more fulfilling, more satisfying than the other subjects I was teaching. Because this was a subject when you talk about entrepreneurship in the classroom, when you talk about how do you build a business, the students were suddenly interested, they were engaged because we were talking about things that they can relate to. Otherwise, a lot of things we talk, they when you talk about industry, when you talk about, for example, mergers and acquisition in of business, or when you talk about securities and IPOs, or when you talk about engineering things, they have never seen those things around themselves happening. They don't connect with them. So it's like as a teacher, you are pushing the content on them. But the moment you start talking about business and you start talking about, how did Ola start, or how is this Redbus doing, or how is Book My Show doing, or how is Zomato succeeding, why is Swiggy failing? Now suddenly you see them in getting interested, because now you're talking in the classroom. They feel that okay, I'm discussing things that I see around me, that I'm day to day I'm using those products. I'm a customer of those companies, but I've never thought of them from this lens. right? So they suddenly realize that my understanding of these companies, every product I'm buying from morning to evening, I'm buying some product or service, right? And the in the business class, in the entrepreneurship class, typically when talk, we what we are doing is essentially talking about those companies and analyzing and seeing, okay, how do you analyze those companies? What do you learn from them, and how do you build a company like that? So that is so much more engaging and fun for the students. And when it is fun for the students, when the students take interest, what do we as teachers want more than that, right? Because for us, when we are in the classroom, outside the classroom, a lot of things matter to us. What is my salary, whether I'm getting promotion or not, whether I'm getting leave and not. But the moment you enter the classroom, for that 1 hour when you're in the classroom, all that matters is, are my students engaged? Yes or no? Right? Are my students happy? Are my students enjoying? Are they feeling connected to what I'm teaching? Entrepreneurship is such a subject where everybody in the classroom feels connected, because everybody uses some kind of products or services, right? And that's how my journey started. And of course, in the process, when you talk about entrepreneurship, you talk about business, when you learn these things, apart from, irrespective of whether you actually go and teach them, the second thing is, a lot of time when the students start seeing you as somebody who understands a little bit about starting a business, these days, thanks to programs like Shark Tank, thanks to the events like Government of India, Startup India, and all those things, all these young students, they are so crazy about startups, right? If you go out of every 4 or 5 students, one student wants to do a startup while in the college, right? Every third or fourth, or 20 to 30% of them want to have some startup. But the problem is, especially if they're coming from tier two, tier three towns, or tier two, tier three colleges, if they're not in IITs or IIMs, they don't have anybody to look up to. Okay, if a student, second year, third year, commerce, arts, engineering student wants to start a business, who do they approach? Because if they come from a family business, then they have somebody who can help them in the home. But a lot of them don't come from family businesses. Their parents don't understand business either, right? They don't have good network. So their first point of contact typically is a teacher, right? And so you can become that teacher. And that's how my journey started. That in the entire, out of 200, 300 teachers in the college, you are that one teacher that any student who wants to do a startup, they say, okay, here, this faculty, this teacher, he may not be an expert in business. He may not be able to help me right from 0 to 100, but at least he has some understanding, and he or she can at least, help me with the first steps. Right. So that itself is so rewarding, because again, I don't know if those coming from science or technology background, if you're doing MS, science people and masters, you guys certain projects, right? So how many of you guided some student projects, undergrad projects, master projects, right? Now, how does it feel when you see a studio guided a project, and at the end the student is presenting it at the end, and they have achieved something? It's not just project for the sake of project, but they really did something, and some real contribution came out of the project. How does that feel? Right? Seeing your own student, like, okay, 1 year I guided this student, and now they have done this project, they're presenting it to a panel, and the panel is appreciating that project. That's a different feeling, right? Now imagine that project is just for the semester, and that project will shut down. The moment you give them the marks, the moment they graduate, they will submit the report, it's gone. Nobody's going to look back at the project report. Even after 2 years, the student will forget what project they did, right? But now imagine the same student coming to you with a startup idea, and you help them for the 6 months, 1 year, right? What will happen after the sixth one? And again, you may not help them with everything, whatever you can. The rest of the things they will figure out. There are incubators, like, I come from an incubator, Bamboo, AIC Bamboo incubator. A lot of incubators are there. A lot of other support systems are there. So they will get the support from other organizations. But you become the first point of contact, right? And 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, you support them. I have a student startup. So when I was teaching back in 2014, 15, I think, or 16 maybe, I was doing a 3 days bootcamp on entrepreneurship that I was teaching, and there was a student called Rishabh Shukla, and he was a part of one of the boot camps we're doing. And as a part of the activity, we said, okay, so come up with some dummy idea, and you have to work on it. And the topic that I'm going to cover today is the topic we did, business model canvas. So I said, okay, you have to come up with one random idea, whatever is in your mind, and then you have to create a business model canvas for this. 3 hours we did that. There were 65, 70 students. Everybody did it for the sake of activity, and people forgot. This one guy, out of the 65, 70, at the end, he comes and says, sir, during this activity, we figured out a problem, and we thought of an idea, and we've done the canvas. We know this is not good. This is very imperfect. This is raw. But by doing this morning to now we think that we want to convert this into a real business. Imagine the happiness you as a teacher feel, that at the end of that one day, when you're teaching something, the student comes and says, okay, because of what you taught me, I am now want to convert this into a business. And I said, okay, fine. I'll help you out. Yes. about the and then of course back then I was not into incubator, and also whatever resources I had, I tried to help them out. I connected them to our incubator, Symbiosis incubator as well, and they got some mentoring from there, and they got incubated. This was when he was in his third year. He was an engineering student, IT student. Third year, this started. By the time he was in final year, he was having a company up and running on the same idea that came up in the boot camp that we were doing, the 3 hours workshop, just dummy practice idea. They liked the idea, they worked on that idea, and they built a company around it. And then by the time he graduated, when he was in the final semester, he got 1 crore ka funding offer, which he rejected. He said, "No, I don't want to take such low amount." And when he graduated, uh, in June or July, while in August, September, some of his classmates were still looking for a job, he was hiring engineers at a package of 8 to 10 lakh rupees. Right? And then 2 years down the line, I think he graduated in 2017. By 2019, he was acquired by another company by some 50 or 60 crores. And today, he's been acquired by a larger company, but he's still the CEO of his company. He's in Gurgaon. He has a team of 50 or 60 engineers working with him. Right? And it's not even 10 years. He graduated in 2017. It's just now 7 years, and a very average student. Every time I meet him, and then we gave him office space in the incubator. There was office space for a proper cabin was given to him. And I once went to his cabin over there, and I saw that in the behind where he sits. When we attend programs, we give those badges to participants, right? You get that lanyard, and there's a badge. So in the boot camp, we give that badge to all the participants, the ID card for the 3 days. And I saw that ID card was hanging right behind him. It was 2 years old program, the boot camp. And I just asked him, "You still preserve it?" He said, "This is where it all started. I'm going to keep it throughout in all my offices wherever I go." And imagine the happiness you feel that something you did, that kid is valuing that. I said, "Okay, wherever I go, no matter what my office, this ID card is going to be in my office because that's where my journey started." Right? So the point I'm trying to make over here is that the entire boot camp, and specifically the topic we're talking about today, is central, and that one story I think is sufficient for me to be happy, smiling all my life. I'm smiling right now when I'm talking about it. Right? एक success story. Now that guy is probably 100, 200 crore worth. This is another startup that we did. Then I moved to Mahindra here, AIC Mahindra. We started this another startup that's sitting right across when just 10 feet from me. They have office here doing it. Right. Again, when I came in, they were all 2 years ago when they came to us, they were all on paper. They just had an idea, they knew nothing what to do. Of course, we helped, and after a certain limit, we said we don't know. So we connected them with external mentors, we connected with them external experts, and a lot of things happened. Today, they have raised venture capital fund of 5 crores. This student graduated 2024. 6 months ago, 2024 June, he has graduated. He is hiring robotics engineer at 12 lakh rupees ka package. While his classmates are struggling to get 6 to 8 lakh rupees job for themselves, this guy is going around and giving job at 12 lakh rupees for outside, and he's still not getting good people. And now he's talking about moving to Bangalore, renting out a 5,000 square feet shed, right? Just 6 months after graduation. So the kind of satisfaction you feel, and it's in 10 years, I probably don't even have 10 such stories. I've been more than 20, 14, 15 years now. I don't even have 14, 15 such stories to tell. But I think one or two such stories in my 15 years career, they're enough for me when I look back to feel, no, I did make some difference. Right. And that guy still says that even if I move to Bangalore, I still want to keep my office here because this is where the journey started. So I know even 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, if he ends up becoming the next Mukesh Ambani or whatever, he's going to remember me. And I think as a teacher, what more do you want, right? So the reason I'm setting up the context is because a lot of us, when I started getting exposed to entrepreneurship and all, my thought process was, I'm an engineering teacher. Why should I talk about entrepreneurship? I'm a commerce teacher. I teach bookkeeping, accountancy. I teach history. I teach physics. I teach chemistry. Why the hell am I supposed to understand and learn about entrepreneurship and all? Right. The reason is, as teachers, I believe, and I've been a teacher, and I think some of you may not agree or disagree, but as teachers, our job is not to go to the classroom and just teach the subject that we are paid for. If I'm a physics teacher and if I think my job is only to go to the class and teach the syllabus and come out, sorry, I'm not doing my job. I'm doing disservice. Because that in this generation, that might have been the role of a teacher 10, 15 years ago. Today, that's not our role because that information is available to that kid at his fingertips on YouTube. Why does he need you? And sorry to say this, but there are people 1,000 times better than you teaching it on YouTube. Right? That people 1,000 times better than me. There are Harvard professors, there are IIT professors, there are Stanford professors teaching the same content 10 times better than me on YouTube. Why does the kid need me in the classroom to go and talk physics, chemistry, bookkeeping, I don't know, electronics, right? So while that's a part of the job, but I think as teachers, our job is not to go and teach the subject. Our job is to help the students build a good life. Do you guys agree? That's the ultimate job, right? That teaching that subject happens to be one of the ways of doing it. And if 30% of my students, 40% of my students are interested in having a business, isn't it as a teacher my moral responsibility that I enable? I don't just go and teach physics. I just go and teach them organization behavior, but I also support them in that journey, whatever I can, right? And that is where the programs like this are designed for you guys to be able, because we want, and I've seen that transformation happen to me personally. It's so satisfying, so rewarding, and the way the growth happens for you, because once you get into that, you will start and forget about the students. Your own way of looking at businesses changes. When the way you look at the world, people get into the, because the way you, every product you see, every service you see, the way you look at your own job will change, right? And I've seen people who have had this understanding, in fact, do much better in their own careers as well. So that's the context I wanted to set up, because I know I've been to a lot of faculty programs like this, and most of the places people come with, okay, TK, what this startup and all, why are we even there? And if that's the mindset, if I start talking about what I'm going to talk about today, it's all going to bounce. So I hope at least I done partially a good job at convincing you the why the next 1 hour you should be in focusing. Are you guys with me now? Yes or no? Cool. So let's move on to the topic for the day. So what we're going to talk about today is, I see some a lot of, okay. Let me, is there option to mute all? Yeah. Cool. So we're going to talk about a topic that's very central to the entire startup world, and that's business models, right? And typically, business model is the difference between a product and a business. We all could, you could work on projects, you could develop some products. One product does not make a business, right? So if you have an idea, typically I say that if you have an idea and if you want to take that idea to a startup, if there's one tool that helps, one framework that helps you do that, that's the framework called business model canvas, because it helps you look at the idea not only from the perspective of that product, that solution, that service, what it does, but it helps you look at holistically from all the perspectives about how do I convert that into a business. So I'm just going to project a few slides. I think I don't need the slides actually. I've already spoken about whatever was on my slides, so I'll just directly go to and I'm going to do it in a different way actually today. Where's this? Yeah. Can I share the screen here? What's this? Where is this screen? Yeah. I hope the screen is visible. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Again, don't stop typing in the chat. I need the chat to be active, otherwise I cannot. I'll just stop talking. Okay, interesting. So now we're talking about business startup. Why? A quick question to all of you, right? And this is a question, you don't have to be business expert, you don't have to be business faculty to know this, right? Why does a business exist? Anybody? Why does any business exist?
Because of demand.
Because of demand. Okay. What else? If you start a business today, any XYZ business, you might start a bakery business, you might be selling cakes, you might be making rockets, you might be making spaceships, you might be making softwares, you might be making AI chatbots, right? You might be making organic foods or cosmetic products or fashion products, whatever it is. Why do you exist? No one? What is the purpose of a business? I mean, we are on day what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fourth day of this program, I think. So this it's not too much to expect that at least some people would understand what the purpose of business is so far. You can either unmute and say, or maybe put in the chat box. Profit, okay, to get income, to do something new, employment, need of life, okay, demand, to make life comfortable. All of them are right answers. Okay, all of them are in some way. There's no right or wrong answer. But if you ask me, that's my answer. Right? A business exists to exchange value with the customers. Now the value could be anything, right? Depends on the context. If you're going to a grocery store and you're buying 1 kg of oil and paying some money, so this is a value exchange happening. I'm giving money, which is value for me, and he's giving me oil, which I need in that context. So we are exchanging value, right? You go take admission in university, you pay fees, So you are giving some value to the university. The university is giving you education and degree and maybe placement in return. That's the value you want. There's exchange of value happening, right? So any business you see, there's a business exchange of value. If there's no exchange of value, there's no business. Simple. Does that make sense? Now that value could be you are making my life comfortable, you are solving my problem, you are fulfilling my need, I'm thirsty, you're giving me water, I'll pay you 2 rupees for that water pouch, fine. Or I'll pay you 10 rupees for the water bottle, right? Because I'm thirsty. So that's value for me. So value could be anything. Comfort, ease of use, it could be saving time, saving money, reducing the risk, making me providing more luxury. It could be the value could be status, the value could be custom designs, anything, right? But there's an exchange of value. On one side is giving value, the other side is giving money. Sometimes the exchange is not in money, it could be barter also, right? So initially, if you see earlier days, the businesses, if you go hundreds of years of back, when there was no concept of money or currency, businesses still existed. But then we had barter back then, right? I'll give you wheat, you give me some other thing that you have. Now that the exchange has always been there. The only thing is now the mode of exchange has changed, right? So for this to happen now, right? For the exchange of value to happen, what are the conditions required? I'm going to take a very different route to this entire concept of business model. I could I can directly put that canvas on the slide and start talking about it, but I want to go in a little bit different way because I'm assuming some of you, at least one or two of you, would actually want to teach this concept to your students. Second, this is a very, very important, very powerful framework when you want to mentor student startups. So when any startup comes to us, when we are talking to them, when we are mentoring, at the back of our mind, this is the framework that's always working, right? So for the value exchange to happen, what are the conditions required? If I want to exchange something with you, what is the primary condition? If I want to exchange 1 kg cashews with you, or 1 kg almond with you, or 1 kg of some fruit with you for 100 rupees, what is the most important condition for that to happen? That I need to have that value, right? I need to have 1 kg cashews. I need to have 1 kg apples if I want to give it to you. If I don't have, how am I going to do that, right? So first and most important thing is that I need to have that value. Now, how do I have that value? Of course, I have to create that value. So first thing is that as a business, you create some value, right? Then you have created the value. Now you have to deliver the value also, right? Coca-Cola or Pepsi, they make thousands of bottles of their soft drink, right? And then you pay money to them, they give you value in return. But for them, first they have to make those bottles. They have to create. Second, they create thousands of bottles, but if all those bottles are lying in their warehouses, if they don't have a distribution channel, if those bottles are not available in the supermarkets or stores or the pan shops or the restaurants or other stores nearby, how will you be able to buy it, right? So you have to create the value, you have to deliver the value, right? Now everything we're talking about applies to you as an individual as well. So this topic, that's why it's one of my favorites, because while we're talking about startups, everything we talk, we can draw parallels to somebody's personal life. When you go to a classroom as a teacher, right, is there a value exchange happening in the classroom, right? So if I as a teacher, I treat myself as a business and I'm going to a classroom, what is my purpose of going to a classroom? I want to change, I exchange value. Now what value exchange is happening from your side? The value that you're giving to the students is maybe your knowledge, right, or your wisdom, your experience, right? What are the students giving you in return? What are they giving you? So on a broader level, of course, they are paying fees. So one chunk they have paid for the entire semester fees they have paid to the college. So in one way, they are paying money for that knowledge. But in that moment, in the classroom, also there's some exchange happening. You are giving them knowledge, they are giving you their time. Time also is a currency. They are giving you their attention, which also is a currency, right? So that knowledge. Now, if the students don't see value in what you are teaching, will they give you their time and attention? They might be physically present because attendance is compulsory, but they will not be mental present, right? Because that value exchange is not happening. The reason the value exchange is not happening is because you are not giving them the value they want. So if I have to give knowledge to the students, first thing is I have to create that value. I had to first acquire that knowledge myself. I had to learn. I had to become an expert. I have to read books. I have to attend courses, whatever ways, right? I have to read research papers. But first, to deliver value, I had to create. Now value create to kar liya. And you have amazing value. You have expert. A lot of us have PhDs from big institutes and everything, and you have bhandar of huge ocean of knowledge. But there are a lot of teachers, and no offense to anybody, but we have seen that a lot of people who are amazing at information, but when they go to teach, students don't connect. They are then unable to teach because they have the value, they are unable to deliver. Right? So if I don't get up from my chair, I don't go to the classroom, and I don't deliver the value, what's the point? Right? And in business, you have to capture the value again. So okay, I have given you this product. I need something in return, the money. Now these three things have to happen for a value exchange to take place. Is that clear? And that's what business is all about. Simple. Everything that you do in business is about these three things, not beyond this. Every business function is either about creating that value, or about delivering that value, or about capturing that value. इसके बाहर कुछ नहीं business में, right? Now, if I have to create value, how do I create? What are the things I need to know to create the value? If I'm if knowledge is my value and I'm preparing for a lecture, what do I need to know before I prepare for the lecture? Anyone? If I tell you, okay, now there's a bunch of students in the classroom over here, and I want you in the evening 5 to 6, I want you to give a lecture, 1 hour lecture, right? So first thing is, of course, you need to know what is the target audience. Who am I giving the lecture to? Is it commerce students? Is it science students? Is it engineering students? Right? First. Second, what knowledge I want to give? Do you want me to talk to them about bookkeeping? Do you want me to talk to them about accountancy? Do you want me to talk to them about organizational behavior? Do you want me to talk to them about marketing? Right? Then only I can prepare, na? So same way works for a company. I'm trying to make it very as simple as I can relate to what you guys do. I'm giving examples from academics so that you can draw parallels. So to create value, first is I need to know for whom am I creating value. Because the same lecture on bookkeeping and accountancy, for example, if you're delivering, if you're a commerce guy, or a history lecture for that matter, or a biology lecture, if I'm going to give it to third year BSc students of biology or third year BCom students for bookkeeping accountancy, I'll prepare in a different way. But the same topic, if I was to go to teach to engineering students, I'm going to teach biology to engineering students. Would I teach it the same way? Would I have my same content? No, right? So I need to know for whom I'm creating value. Based on that, I will decide. Then what am I going to teach? Am I going to teach biology? Within biology, what topics I want to teach? Within history, do I want to teach medieval history? Do I want to teach World War history? Do I want to teach Indian history? Do I want to teach Asian history? Right? And the third is, okay, how am I going to teach it? Am I going to teach it through a lecture? In the lecture, am I going to show PowerPoints? Am I going to have videos? Am I going to have quizzes in the classroom? Do I want to do some role plays? Do I want to do some activities? Do I want them to play games? Or do I want them to do something online searching? Right? Do I want them to read some research papers? How am I going to do that? Right? And deliver, that's one way. Second is, am I going to deliver it online? Am I going to deliver it offline? Will I be in the classroom, or will they come to my office, two of them? See, when I go and teach a lecture, I go to classroom and talk. But when I'm guiding a project group, right, and when my project group has some problems, they come to my office, and I'm sitting, they'll be standing, or they'll be sitting in my office, and then I'll teach them, right? So in both cases, I'm teaching, but the context changes, the way of delivery also changes. I don't say my project group, no, come to the classroom, we'll go to the classroom, I'll teach you there. No, they'll come anytime to my office, and I'll solve their doubts. But for a lecture, I'll go to a classroom, right? So now again, for whom? So again, we need to understand who am I creating this value for. So this, I'm not going into very much details over here. When we talk with startups, we go a lot more details. But given the nature of the audience over here, an idea here is to expose. But we need to understand that the product that I'm creating, and if a student comes to you tomorrow, sir, I have a business idea. These are the questions you need to ask them, right? Okay, for whom are you creating this product? And is it a mass market product? Is it a product that's for everyone? A lot of FMCG product, Parle-G, for example. Parle-G is for everybody, right? From Mukesh Ambani to a homeless person, anybody can have Parle-G. They're targeting everyone, right? Or is it a niche product? Niche is very specific thing. This is only for this segment of people. A lot of this premium products, for example, there's something called black water these days. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's a black water. It's very costly. Probably people pay like 200, 300 rupees per liter of that water. But only celebrities and VIPs and big shot people, because who pays 200 rupees liter for water, right? We cannot afford that. So it's a very small segment. It's only for those people, right? And then you have some segments. Okay, I have multiple segments. For example, if you go to Colgate, Colgate has different products for different segments, right? It has one product for kids. It has one product for people with sensitive teeth. It has one product for people who want the traditional charcoal wala thing. So there's a different product. Then people who focus on Ayurvedic, there's a different product. So multiple segments, same product, basic product is toothpaste, but they're segmenting to target different people, right? So that for everyone in the house, no matter what your preference is, you have one Colgate toothpaste. I think I don't right now, but a few years ago when we counted, they said Colgate has around 30 plus toothpastes just with the Colgate brand in the market, right? And some of you these days we talk a lot about multi-sided platforms, right? So for example, we talk all of us use Ola or Uber, and the multi-sided platforms. On one side you have customers or travelers, on the other side you have the cab drivers. Amazon is more or less like a multi-sided platform now, right? Amazon doesn't sell all of the stuff themselves. They have sellers, they have buyers. Right. Same way you have platforms like Book My Show, ticket booking platforms, bus booking platforms. You have YouTube, for example, as a multi-sided platform, right? Because on one side is the content creator, and on the other side is the content consumer. So who is the person that you're creating that who is the customer segment, or who is that target group for whom you are creating value? That will decide what product am I creating, how will I create it, how will I sell it. If I'm going to teach a topic to a nursery students or KG students, I'll probably not even use a PowerPoint slides. I'll try to use toys or things like that, right? And if I'm teaching the same topic or similar topic to PhD students, again, probably I'll go and I'll just throw around some research papers and say, okay, you read the research papers and you tell me what you studied. But I will not go to first class or second standard or nursery class and say, hey kids, here is a research paper, study this and tell me no. Right. So how I deliver it also will depend on who I'm delivering, right? What content, again, the level of depth I will go to teach that subject will depend whether it's a primary school student, whether it's a PhD student, whether it's a master student. Same way for the product also you need to understand that who actually is it that I'm creating the product for. Making sense so far? I'm getting bored now. It's like I'm listening to myself speak for past 10 minutes. I don't like that. So time for a break. Any comments, questions, anything, something in the chat box? I need to see at least 4 or 5 comments or I'm sitting back. Any questions so far? Any comments or any observations? Anything that you want to add from your experience so far? Okay, so that was so one is the for whom part, right? Now this next is what am I creating, right? So when I'm talking about product, when I'm talking what am I creating, here what I mean is why should somebody buy my product over my competitors? If I'm creating a new mobile phone, if I'm creating, if I again this applies to you as individual also, right? When you apply tomorrow, and I keep telling when you talk about business model, I am a huge fan of applying business models to business model canvas to your personal life as well. So when I apply to a college as a faculty, right, what is in it me that they should hire me out of 50, 20, 30 other candidates applying for that interview? Why should I be the one selected? Right? Why should the students attend my class and learn that subject from me when they have the option of going to Coursera, to Udemy, to LinkedIn Learning, to YouTube, and learn the same thing at the convenience of their house? They can be sitting on the couch, eating popcorn just in their shorts and casual dress at 12 in the night, and they could be watching those YouTube videos and learning from them. Why should they come to my class to learn? What is something that I'm offering in the classroom that the YouTube videos will not offer, that the courses will not offer? Right. So same way for the business also, it's very important to understand that what is it that I am offering for this, the people will come and buy my products. So when a student is coming to you with a startup idea, that this is another question that you need to ask, that okay, you coming up with a new app, you're coming up with a new variety of ladies clothes, or you want to launch kids clothes, or you want to launch a millet product, organic foods, you want to sell achar, whatever it is. Why will somebody buy your achar when there are 50 other achar brands in the market? Right? What is that you're offering? Now that could be one, is it could be something new or unique. Somebody will say, sir, I have this kind of achar which is not available in the market, right? Or I am having this fashion designs, these designs are my unique, they're not available in the market. I have some new unique feature in my app, right? So same way, or I have as a teacher, I have a unique way of teaching. So the students should come to me because they will not find this kind of the way I am teaching. Nobody's teaching it that way. Yesterday, I met a very nice gentleman over here. He came, very senior faculty, teaches entrepreneurial finance. And I was sitting with him and we were just discussing. He said he was telling me how I teach finance to students. basics of finance. And he was basically talking about the startup financing, equity and debt and all those things. And he said, I teach finance to my students taking example of Pani Puri. Pani Puri, some people call Golgappa or whatever. So he said, entire finance, my first class is about Pani Puri, that how does a Pani Puri wala manage finance? The interesting way, right? Rather than going to the PPT and saying, okay, this is debit, credit, balance sheet, and liabilities and assets. He said, I take example of Pani Puri and because everybody connects to it. That's a unique way of doing it. Right? Same. So what I'm saying is, whatever we are talking about, though we are talking about businesses, same things can be applied to you as an individual, as a teacher as well, irrespective of whether you want to start a business or irrespective of whether you want to teach or mentor students or not. At least you can apply to your own life. The other thing is, a lot of companies say, okay, we are low cost. A lot of mobile companies, Xiaomi, for example, a lot of us use Xiaomi, Redmi phones, Realme phones, Vivo and all, Oppo, Vivo. Their entire thing was, why buy from us? Why not from Samsung? Why not from Nokia? Why not from Apple? Because we are cheaper. Sometimes it is about accessibility, right? We are more accessible, or our design is better, or our performance is better. We are better than others in some terms. We are faster. We are more reliable. We have our products last longer. Whatever it is. Sometimes it's about customization. So this pen that I have here, this pen is like what? 8 to 10 rupees pen. If I go to the market, I'll find this pen for 10 rupees maybe maximum. If I buy it in wholesale, I'll get it for 8 rupees. But you know how much we got this pen for? 25 rupees. Now, why would I pay 15 rupees extra for a pen that is available at 10 rupees in the market? It's because if you can see this, there's a logo, our incubator logo, AIC Mahindra, right? This is customization. For that customization, I'm paying double the price, right? So a lot of people have started getting customized, for example, education also, a lot of edtech companies are coming saying, we'll do customized one-on-one teaching for your child, right? There's a Bombay shirt company ka website, if you go and check, they have started now offering customized shirts. So on the website, you can go, you can enter your measurements, you can select the sleeves, half, full, what kind of a cufflinks you want, cuff kaisa chahiye, and what kind of a collar do you want, what kind of buttons do you want. You can even select the buttons that you like out of 5, 6 options. No, I like this pattern of buttons. Whatever you select, and then accordingly, they will stitch that shirt and they will send that shirt to you. Normal white shirt that in the market, if you go, you'll buy it for 1,000, 1,200 rupees, at the max 1,500 rupees. They're selling that shirt for 3,000 rupees. And people are buying. Why? Because they are giving the option of customization. The buttons, the way I want the buttons, everything the way I want, right? So is there a customization option in the product that's making the product unique, different? It could be brand status. Sometimes we buy Apple just for, normally a lot of people buy iPhone, not everybody. Some people really buy iPhone for utility and really they need it. But in India, at least 70%, especially these young kids, no, I ask, why do you buy, why are you using iPhone? This is a security. I'm like, you don't even have 10,000 rupees in your bank account. What kind of a security are you talking about? So it's not secure. If a business guy is using it, I understand, okay, he has to have security and all those things, right? Or he has, but 60 to 70% of people who buy iPhone in the country, in India especially, are not buying it for anything else except for that half-eaten apple at the back, the logo है यहाँ पे जो पीछे होता है ना, half apple is for that brand status. They're paying the money. Sometimes people will pay you for risk reduction, right? All the insurance companies have something, and a lot of companies that give you warranty guarantee. Sometimes, when you buy something, one company will sell you one year warranty in the phone. Imagine if a company comes and says, buy my phone for 50,000 rupees, I will give you 10 years warranty. In 10 years, anything happens to the phone, I'll replace it. Right now, suddenly now you think, oh, Samsung is giving only 1 or 2 years warranty, Apple is giving 2 years, this guy is giving 10 years. So what is he doing? He's reducing my risk, that if something goes wrong with my phone, I wouldn't have to take the risk. The company will replace the phone. मेरा कोई risk नहीं. Right? So these and this is not exhaustive list, by the way. This is just some of them. There could be a lot more than this. But we're talking about that we are trying to create value by doing one of these things, by either being new or buying. Otherwise, why will somebody buy from me if there are other people in the market selling the same thing, or if I'm doing the same thing? Right? Same way, if I'm also one of the thousands and lakhs of other teachers, if I'm also teaching the same way in the class, if I'm not, I don't have a unique way of teaching, if I don't, I'm not more accessible, if I'm not performing better in some way, right? If I don't have my own, how many of you have your own? Again, when I talk to teachers, they say, but I'm a teacher, how can brand help me? You go to my LinkedIn, you'll see, right? A lot of these things I get today, a lot of talks that I do is from people who don't even know me. But there is certain thing on my LinkedIn. I got more than, I think now 15, 16,000 followers on LinkedIn by now. So lot of what I have achieved so far is a conscious use of LinkedIn for proper personal branding for over the past 10 years. right? So that one thing I think a lot of teachers lack, we don't do that, is our own personal branding. Right? You become a brand, and I have seen people, there are universities where they hire somebody, the person is not even applying, but the university or the college reaches out and says, hey, we want you to work for us. And that happens when you have brand. The place where I am right now, I never applied. They reached out to me that will you come and join us, right? So I never put a formal application to be here where I am right now. All because you have some kind of brand. People know you. Okay, this person is good at this thing. Let's hire him. Right. So if you have brand balance, then you go, you can negotiate whatever salary you want, you can negotiate whatever designation you want, you can negotiate whatever timings you want, a lot of things happen. But if you're just like thousands of other faculty members, you're going to the interview and they don't know you, then you're competing with a lot of other people. Right. So see how as an individual also can you bring these elements into your own career. Okay? And then how are you going to do this? Okay, I know okay who am I creating the value for, what value I want to create, but then how will I do this? Right. So the how part again requires three things. To do anything, I need three things. There are certain actions I'll have to take. Right. Even for delivering this lecture, I had to prepare the mind map that you see on the screen. There's a software I use. I created this entire mind map in a nice way. Or I will have to prepare a PPT, PowerPoint. I will have to prepare my notes, whatever it is. Some actions I need to do, right? And then I will need resources. So I need a laptop here. Otherwise, I could not connect with you. If I'm teaching in the classroom, I need a projector. I need access to PowerPoint. I need access to computers, whatever. Same way to build a product. I need access to resources, right? Based on what product it is. And then I cannot do everything individually on my own. You need to partner with people. For example, this entire program that you're going through right now, the BAMU is doing the entire UGC, whatever team at BAMU, plus AIC BAMU team they're doing. Can they do it on their own? No. That's why you see different speakers from across the country coming up. Right? They cannot say that all the speakers will be from BAMU only and we'll do it. No, practically not possible. You might have expertise for some of the topics, but it's not possible that you'll have expertise for all the topics. So you have to partner with people. Right. So a lot of things, even businesses you see, you'll have to partner with your vendors, your suppliers, a lot of things. Even political parties, I sometimes talk, they also have to partner with a lot of people around them, right? So what partnerships you will make? So we'll come to that part as well. So what are the activities? And again, from the business angle, one is if you're into manufacturing or something, product, or even for software, you have to produce it, right? Whether it's a product, even if it's a software, you have to create that app, you have to create that website, you have to create that food product, you have to create that designs, whatever it is. You have to market it, right? You have to maintain the supply chain. And then most importantly, you have to build a good network. Again, these are just tentative to some of the activities. There are a lot more, but this is what we need to do, right? So once I need to do, not to do these things, I need resources. So what are the resources I need? So I'll need physical resources, right? Of course, I'll need a shop floor, a warehouse, a manufacturing plant. If it is a hardware product, I will need laptops. I'll need a server space if I'm working on AI or software thing. Maybe I need a food processing unit, right? Physical, I will need office space, a lot of things. Then I'll need people, right? So, and especially the service businesses, education more or less like a service business is a more people intensive, right? You want to run a college, you need classrooms, you need laboratories, you need a library, you need a playground, all those things. But you also need people to run it. You need good faculty, right? Same way in business, you need good people to market it, good people to sell it, good people to lead it, people to manufacture it, people to design the product, people to ensure quality control. You need finance, you need money, right? And then you will need the know-how, how to do it. Either a pet IPR or something, right? Or at least how to do it. Okay, this is if I don't know how to build it, how am I going to build it? If I don't know how to use PowerPoint, how am I going to make a PowerPoint presentation, right? And then you need a good network. So these are the resources. So using these resources, you'll engage in these activities, and then you will also partner. Now, again, when you go to partnership, it's who do I partner with and why do I partner with? Why do I want to partner? So there are again few reasons I listed. Sometimes it gives economies of scale, right? I don't want to produce everything myself. So somebody is already making it. I'll ask them to make it and get it done from them, right? So a lot of that works over there. Sometimes when I partner, it reduces my risk also. Okay, because the partner might be bringing some kind of credibility. They might have some expertise which I don't have, right? So I'll rather say, go give it. Sometimes you partner for getting temporary resources. So a lot of IT companies these days, they don't have all the staff members on their payroll. 60-70% of the staff is on their payroll, on their salaries. 30% what they do is they tie with consultancies. And these consultancies have that staff on their payroll. And whenever a company requires this, people will go and work for that company, right? Same way, for example, I don't know, most of your colleges or universities, your security guards are not on the payroll of the university or the college mostly. There's a third party company, security services. You give contract to that company, and that company has a security cost on their payroll. So you give lump sum amount to that company monthly, and they whatever salary they pay, so those security guards are on the payroll of that. Why? One is because it reduces your risk because you don't have the time to go and check every security guard, background check, Aadhaar card, is he a good person, is he a criminal, all those things. You don't want to take that risk. That company specializes in that. They'll do it. Right. Second, sometimes what happens today, I might need tomorrow, might need 20 more extra security guards, but only for 2 months. If I fire, it's a very challenging thing for me, and I cannot immediately fire, especially if I'm a government entity. Once I hire somebody, I cannot fire them easily. But when I give to a contractor, I can say, okay, boss, 2 months I need 20 people extra. What he'll do is he'll give it for them 2 months, and then for the remaining time, after 2 months with me is done, he'll send the same people to some other company. So it helps you get temporary resources, right? When you partner. Same way, a lot of universities, when you require a lot of cabs, travel arrangement, you don't have your own internal cabs. One or two cars you will have in the college, but more than that, you partner with a travel agent. When I require a car, I'll call that car. I don't want to have 50 cars in the campus just for one conference in a year. Credibility, partnerships bring you credibility a lot of time. If you partner with somebody who has a big name, right? So it brings you credibility. Let's say if this program is done tomorrow, if this program was sponsored again, you had a logo of Reserve Bank of India here, let's say, or you had okay, this program, this entire program is being sponsored or being endorsed by a Reliance Group or by some ministry, suddenly the value credibility goes up. A lot of time partnerships help you to get know-how. You may not know how to do certain things. That's where the entire franchisee model works, by the way, right? People who take franchisee basically is about the know-how that somebody has figured out how to do stuff, and they tell you, okay, here's the know-how, we know how to do this stuff, give us some money, we'll give the franchisee and we'll tell you how to run the business. Partnerships help you increase the reach sometimes. And if nothing, especially I think when I talk about incubators, a lot of you, when the startups go to incubators, I say, if nothing, at least when you're incubated at an incubator, you get some kind of moral support, right? That, okay, I'm sometimes, you just need somebody there to help you out. Okay, these people may not, even in your personal life, if you're married and if you're your husband or wife, a lot of times when you have some issue at work, your husband or your wife may not be able to actually solve that. If they are not from the same domain, if they are not from the same industry, they may not understand what your problem is and they may not be able to help you out. But still, when you go home and you talk to them and you feel, okay, this somebody who just all that devil says, okay, everything will be fine. But that moral support means a lot to you, right? So sometimes partnerships help you with that as well. Okay, this partner is with me. Even if something goes wrong, they'll be there to help me out. Is this clear so far? So all that we've done is we have talked about the value creation part, past half an hour. And again, I'm rushing very quickly. I can talk a lot more, but I'm just keeping it very brief. Any comments so far? See, so USP is for you as a person to decide. For example, Apple does not do most of its manufacturing, right? Most of now they are moving to India. They started some plants in India and something, but until recently, most of Apple's manufacturing was done in China. Another interesting thing, I don't know if you know, if you use iPhone or at least you know about iPhone, the touch screen on the iPhone, the screen that Apple uses on their phones is actually manufactured by Samsung, right? That's your partnership. So Apple actually has a partnership with its competitor because Samsung is very good at making touch screens. So Samsung say Apple buys, right? So again, there are a lot of partnerships that at play over there. A lot of computers, if you use Windows computers, for example, जितने भी Windows, no matter you buy HP, you buy Dell, you buy Lenovo, whatever branch, if you buy a desktop or a laptop, you will see a sticker over there that says Intel inside, right? There's Intel processor. These companies don't manufacture their own processors. They have a partnership with Intel by default. And because they have partnership, see, if I'm using Intel processor, I'm paying Intel for that. Why do I need to put a sticker that Intel inside? Because that's a partnership with Intel. That Intel has said, okay, I will give you, but if you're using my thing, I also need publicity on each of device. So each device that you buy, computer, laptop, there's an Intel inside a sticker on it. Right. Next is a delivery. So creation is done. Now we want to focus on the delivery part, right? So delivery again, there are two customer segments. One is a new customer who's buying from me for the first time, and existing customer, right? So what's for the new customer? Now I need to see what are the channels, how do I reach to the customer, right? Product to bana liya. Am I going to sell it online? Am I going to sell it offline? Am I going to sell it through Amazon or Flipkart, or do I want to sell it through my own website? A lot of students will come to you about this question. That's right. I'm working on this organic product. I have made this organic food, millet something which banaya, or I have made this special toy, or I have made this device for blind people, right? Or I have made this device for kitchen appliance, whatever. I want to sell it. How do I sell it? Because I want to sell to entire India. I don't have the money to set up shop across the country, right? So do I sell it through distributors and retailers, or do I go through each retailer and sell it, or should I just post it on Amazon? Now, if you put it on Amazon, Amazon eats up a huge chunk of your profits. The commissions are so high. So then a lot of people don't sell on Amazon. They create their own website. But then there's a downside to it. If I have to create my own website, I have to put in money to build the website, buy server space, a lot of money, and then I may not have that many customers on my website as there on Amazon. So should I do a hybrid strategy? So all those things. So what are the channels that I need to explore, right? Now the channels are there. So that you have to do two things, because if you're a new product, if you're a new business into the market, you have to have two kinds of channel. One is the way how people will know about you. That okay, there is this new business that is coming to the market now, and then once they know, how will they buy from you? So know is all about marketing. Digital, conventional. Will you do through events? Will you do influencer marketing? Will you do cold calling and stuff like that? And how will they buy from you? So either they'll buy online, right? Or they'll buy offline, or it could be hybrid. Now, offline, you could have your own company store, you could have franchise, you could have pickup store, you could have distributor, retailer. Some companies do door-to-door selling even today, right? Online, it could be your own website, your own app. There are platforms like Meesho that are into social selling. People sell to WhatsApp groups these days, right? People sell through Facebook groups. That's all social selling. And or you could have marketplace like Amazon. That's about the selling part. For the new customers. For the existing customers, all that you do is ensure that you provide proper after sale services. And then I need to capture the value, because I need something in return, right? So to capture the value is all about the finance part. So what is my revenue and what is my cost? And the difference is my profit, right? So revenue again, what are the types of revenues? The revenue could be fixed and dynamic. Yeah? In some cases, for example, you go air flights when you book these days, the air flight rates are dynamic. If I book the flight today, the rate will be different. If I book tomorrow, the rate will be different, right? And there's certain things where the price is fixed. You buy today, you buy tomorrow, it doesn't change, right? So what kind of pricing do you want for your startup, or what kind of pricing you want to suggest your students when they come to you? Then what could be the sources of revenue? So one is sales. I'm going from bottom, right? I sell the product, you own the product. Sales is basically I'm transferring the ownership of the product, right? Samsung sold me this phone I have right now. They have sold it. I am the owner. Now Samsung has no control on it. Samsung cannot come tomorrow and say, hey, no, we want to check your phone. No, it's mine. Sold. Khatam. Right? Then it could be commission basis. A lot of people work on commission basis, right? A lot of business. Even Amazon basically works on commission. You sell on Amazon, they get some commission. Uber, Ola, commission, right? You book a cab on Uber or Ola, the driver gets something, but Uber and Ola cut some commission in it, right? So a lot of all these websites, Make My Trip, travel booking websites, your movie ticket booking websites, they all work on the commission basis. Then you have subscription, right? You pay monthly or yearly fees. So you're not owning it. So for example, this very platform Zoom that we are on, this is subscription platform, right? You have to pay monthly some amount to Zoom, and as long as you're paying, you can use it. The moment you stop paying it, you lose access, right? And some things are rent basis. So rent, we all understand. We buy offices and house on rent and all. So that's one thing. Then there's something is for fees, right? You pay a certain fee for a service. Fee is usually for a service, right? You go to a doctor, you pay a fee. You go next time, you have to pay the fee again. It's not that once I went and I paid fees, then every lifetime is free. No, every time I go, I have to pay fee. Maybe first visit he will charge more, next visit he may charge less, but he'll have charge. A lot of people talk about advertising that okay, we'll not charge anything, but we'll earn from advertising. Not a good source of revenue for all. In some cases, it works, but not everything. And data. A lot of people say that okay, we will provide our the service for free. We'll make money through data. For example, Google doesn't charge you anything. Google gives you Gmail for free, Google Maps for free, Google Search for free, Google Drive for free, Google Meet for free, and I don't know, hundreds of other things. Everything is free. How does Google make money? Two things. One is advertising, right? When you search something, people pay money to be on the top few things on Google, right? So it's huge money. One of my students used to work, is still working in Google. He's a very senior position now in Google, and he works in Google Ads. And he says when banks If I go and if I search for, let's say, a loan or something on Google, and if there are three, four links come in ICICI Bank, SBI, whatever, if they have paid Google the money to get ranked, there's something called pay per click. For every time somebody clicks on that link, they have to pay Google. And that pay per click cost goes as far as 2000 rupees per click. So if you just go out there, search best house loan, housing loan, best car loan, and you see ICICI, HDFC, another bank, and they have their sponsor, and then you click on ICICI link and you go to ICICI website, irrespective of whether you buy the loan or not, you do anything, ICICI is paying 2000 rupees to Google. So the day you get angry with one of the banks, if the bank doesn't help, just go to Google, search them 10 times, and just click on the link, they'll get debited, and we punish them like that, right? So there's a concept called cost per click. So they will pay only when you click on the link. But that's the amount of money Google charge, 2000 rupees per click, right? So you never know. In fact, when we ran our first program at AIC Mahindra, we did a pre-incubation program. We put an advertisement on LinkedIn, and we put 4000 rupees ka budget for that. And in 4000, I got only two leads. Two people applied to that advertisement, 4000. So basically, the cost for me was 2000 rupees per person, and none of them was relevant. None of them actually wanted to join the program. One of them wanted to sell the product to me. The other wanted to become a mentor at our incubator. So none of them wanted to become a participant. 4000 all wasted. But that's how these companies make money, right? So Google makes money from advertising. But the second thing is they make money through your data, right? Same way Facebook. They're not charging you anything. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, but the data that they're getting, that data they're selling. Right. Now I put a question mark because is it ethical? Is it moral? Should we do? Should not? That's a debate around it. But that's how people do it. So I put it. It's my job to show that that's one way of generating revenue. Should you do it or not? That's the individual's choice. Right. And then you go to the cost part, the last part of the game, basic. I'm not going into details over here because I keep it very basic. It's basically what are the fixed costs and what will be the variable costs. Right. And now once I've taken care of all these things, so what we're talking about here is you see, okay, who am I creating the value for or the product for? What is the product I'm going to create? How am I going to create? Then how am I going to deliver this to customers? How will my customers know about me? How will they buy from me? Right? How will I get revenue from them? And what are the costs involved? Now, this diagram is all that a business is about. Agree? Every possible thing that can happen in a business goes into this diagram. Right? Of course, I can keep expanding, I can narrow down, but if I narrow down, this all goes down to these things. And if I narrow down further, everything goes down to only these three things. How do I create? How do I deliver? Nothing in business is beyond this. And this entire thing, this entire what you see or saw is, so I have an idea. Typically, what happens when people come to you, or when you talk about a startup idea, or when your students come, they focus only on this part, the what part. Right? That I want to sell organic food. I want to sell a new kind of a fashion product. I want to sell baby clothes. I want to build an app. So they're only talking about what. But business is a lot more than the what part. You need to understand for whom, how you will do it, what will your customers, how will you reach out to them. And if you unless you do all these parts correctly, you are not going to make a good business. You might have amazing business, but if you don't know how to sell it, if you can't market it properly, if customers don't know about your product, right, or if you don't know how to charge, there are certain products that people are happy to buy on subscription. There are certain products people, for example, if a mobile company comes tomorrow and says I will give subscription model, you will not own the phone, pay me 2000 rupees per month, and take the phone, and as long as you want to use the phone, use it, and when you don't want, I'll take it back. How many of us would want a phone on subscription model? Very few, because I don't want tomorrow Samsung coming and say, okay, 3 months subscription, now you're not paid, give me the phone back. No, it's my phone, I want to own it. Right? So certain things, there are certain models, certain ways of collecting revenue that work for certain things. So if those things are not thought through, if they are not planned, if you just focus on the product, it will not convert into a good business. Is it making sense? And now, if you can relate why I said that anytime a student comes to us with any startup idea, whether we are teaching entrepreneurship or mentoring them or guiding student or anybody, even if your friend comes to you and says, I'm starting a business, these are the questions we start asking. Okay, you know what you're going to do, that you know, but do you know who are you going to do it for? How are you going to do it? How are you going to market it? How are you going to sell it? What is your cash flow? Right? And all these things put together nicely in a visual format becomes a template that we call business model canvas. So there's this guy called Alexander Osterwalder who is from Switzerland, if I'm not wrong. And as a part of his PhD, he analyzed and studied these business models across industries and a lot of them. And he created a very simple, easy to understand framework in a visual way that is very, very, very popular across the startup world. Every startup guy you talk to, be it a startup owner, be it entrepreneur, be it a mentor, be it somebody like us who's an enabler, business model canvas, that template is something that everybody knows. Any startup training program you attend, it is not complete unless you talk about that canvas, right? So let me just show you how it looks. I'm going to stop this and share my presentation, which has those slides. Yeah. Okay. I think, yeah, that's the ones we're going to skip for now. Yeah. So this is how that business model canvas looks. Now, if you see, this is nothing but all that we already discussed, right? The center part here is the what part, right? What it says value proposition. What is the value that I'm creating, right? And then extreme right is the customers. Who am I creating for, right? Then how am I creating for is this pink part, you know, to creating what activities I have to do, what resources I will need, what are the partners I will have, right? And then how am I going to deliver is again these two parts, channels and customer relationships, right? What will be my channels to reach to the customers? And once I've sold it, what kind of a relationship do I have to want to have with the customer, right? Uh, do I want to have one-on-one relationship? If they want to raise a complaint, if they want to give me a feedback, how do they reach out to me? Via email, in person? Can they just pick up a call, or is there AI chatbot only, right? And then what are going to be my cost, major cost, and how am I going to make revenue? If I map this out, everything, this one page, one screen gives me a overview, helicopter view, a screenshot of the entire landscape of the business, right? And there is something called what I'm doing my PhD in is one is creating a business model right now, and there's another concept called business model innovation. That there are companies that have a business. Of course, they would have some business model. How would I look at the existing business model of an existing company? And then how would I innovate, make a new business model? So all that I have to do, see, there are two kinds of innovation we talk about. One is the product innovation, that you come up with a new product that's either in the value proposition part, the what part, right? You come up with a new product. Second is the business model innovation. You are not coming up with a new product. All that you're coming up with is a new way of delivering it. For example, Uber and Ola, what are they providing you? Taxi service, right? Now, was taxi service a new thing? They have existed for years. Even 20 years ago, we used to have taxi service, at least in the metro cities, right? There was a taxi service. Even 10, 15 years ago, before Ola and Uber came to India in 2012 or 13, when I was in Pune, you had this Wings cab, radio cabs. All that you had to do is you had to call them in advance. There was a number, you had to call them in advance. Okay, I want a cab tomorrow or evening this time, and then you have to tell them from where to where. They'll put in the system, then they'll tell you, okay, sir, from this location to this location, this will be the tentative cost. Then you have to give them the address. On the phone, they will take up your address, they'll note it down, and then the cab will come at that time. And you have to book it at least 4 to 5 hours in advance. But cabs taxi was there, the product was there. So what Ola Uber is giving me is not a new product. What they're doing is they are change the way they're delivering it. Right? I don't have to book on a phone. The methodology is changed. Earlier the channel was phone. I had to call through phone. Now I get an app. Earlier I used to wait for 4 hours. Now they say, okay, they're faster. Immediately I can book a cab now and I'll get in 10 minutes. Right? I get to know exact location. They don't have to write down my address. Everything goes automatically. But the product is same. So what Uber Ola basically is a business model innovation. So that's what my research area also is, that how do we pick up existing business model and tweak on it. So what you do, if you just tweak out a certain, how many of you know, just to give an example, and we are all we have time, yeah, we are all academics here. How many of you know Coursera? How many of you know Coursera, the website, online learning? In the chat box, please. Yes. Okay. How many of us know about Udemy? Yeah. Good. How many of you know about LinkedIn Learning? Okay. Now, what is the product that these three companies are offering? Coursera, Udemy, and LinkedIn Learning. What are they offering you? What is the product? What is the product? What is the value they're providing? They're all providing online learning. Yeah. The value is knowledge. Right? They're providing you skills, knowledge. All three of them. But all three are different businesses. So if you see, these are classic examples I almost talk about. They are not product innovations because same way, there is some expert who is recording video lectures, video courses. Those videos are put on a platform. You go, you log in, you access, you see those videos, watch those videos, you learn. Right? That's the same thing everywhere. Be it Coursera, be it Udemy, be it LinkedIn Learning. So product wise, they're all same. Where they differ is in the business model. They differ in this, right? So, for example, the revenue streams, if you see, all three of them have different revenue ways. Coursera, the course is free. You can go enroll, study the course for free totally, right? You don't have to pay a single rupee for that. If you want a certificate, then you pay. And then you give the exam assignments and you get a certificate. If you don't want certificates, if you just want the knowledge, that is free. Right? Udemy is other way. Udemy pay, you have to pay to access the course. 1 or 2 free preview lectures are available, but if you want to watch the course, you have to first pay. See the difference in the revenue. LinkedIn Learning does not exist separately in itself. If you have a LinkedIn Premium account or LinkedIn Learning account, what you do is you pay 1400 rupees per month. And in 1400 rupees per month, all courses are free to you. You don't pay separately for separate courses. You want to do 100 courses in a month? Do it. You want to do 1000 courses in a month? Do it. Right? So you pay 1400 rupees per month every month. As long as you keep paying, you have the access and you can access it. So you see three platforms all having different revenue models. One is saying, pay me the money first, then I will give the course. The other is saying, they'll do the course for free. If you want a certificate, I'll give it to you. Third is saying, pay me 1400 per month and do as many courses as you want. I don't care. Right? So that's this revenue model is different. Now, if you see the partnerships angle here, that also is different. Coursera, Udemy, anybody can go and put a course on Udemy. You can also today, you have studied the business model from me. You think I have become an expert. You can create a course on business model canvas and you can create an instructor account on Udemy and make a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour course, put it on Udemy and say, I'm selling it for 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. As long as your audio and video is of good quality and all, they will approve it and you can start selling it on Udemy. And they will charge some commission, you'll get it. Right? Of course, you have to put something. They will not check whether you have a degree in entrepreneurship, whether you have what is your qualification, do you even understand what you're talking about? No, they don't care. You put in the course, people will buy. When they buy, Udemy will give 50%, 50% you will get. Simple. LinkedIn Learning, not everybody can go. You have to be a well-recognized expert in the domain. Right? They will check your credibility. Are you somebody who people already know that you are good at this? Then only you can build a course and put on LinkedIn Learning. If I go to LinkedIn Learning today and I say I want to put a course on LinkedIn Learning, they will not allow me. Right? Udemy I can go and put. So they have their partnerships are different. Udemy is partnering with everybody. Anybody wants to go, even my students, they want to go and put on Udemy, they can. LinkedIn Learning will say, no, no, no. You have to be an expert, only then we'll partner with you. Coursera goes next level. Coursera does not partner directly with individuals. Coursera partners with the university. So if I go to, I want to put a Coursera on Coursera, they'll say, no, no, first you are from Mahindra University. Let us see if Mahindra University is our standard. Does it fit our criteria? That is why on Coursera, you will see only IITs and IIMs from India and only top reputed universities worldwide. So if your university is very reputed, and then within the university, you are also a reputed professor. So Coursera, all the instructors are professors at reputed universities. In LinkedIn Learning and Udemy, you don't have to be a professor at a good university. You can be a freelancer, you can be anybody. Coursera, you have to be a full professor, proper professor faculty in one of the reputed universities. They will tie with the universities. Now, when they give you a certificate, if you are IIT Bombay faculty, then when they give the certificate, they'll also say use IIT Bombay ka name on that. Right? So when I get a certificate from Coursera, it's not only Coursera, it also mentions IIT Bombay, it also mentions Stanford, it also mentions London School of Economics. That is why I'm willing to pay for the certificate. So you see, partnerships are different. Now, because the partnership, and that is why it enables, because people are willing to pay for certificate on Coursera. If Udemy makes their courses free and says you pay us for certificate, nobody will pay for certificate. सब free course करके निकल लेंगे. But Coursera पे people pay for certificates because that certificate comes with the logo of Stanford, Harvard, LA. People pay for that. So that's the value they're providing. So you see the difference? Same product, how just by tweaking how they're connected to you, how they're changing the value power. Now, because of that, Coursera makes their own courses. So when you tie with Coursera, that team will come and that will help you record your courses. Udemy pay, you have to record your own courses. Udemy will not help you do that. So Udemy does not get into in Udemy's activities. Recording courses is not Udemy's task. They don't focus on that. That is the instructor task. You record, you upload. If they like it, they will accept. Otherwise, they'll reject. Coursera, if you are shortlisted to put on Coursera, they will come. They will record with you. So their activities change, and because the activities change, their resources will also change. Right. So what this tells you is, one, you change one block in this canvas, it affects everything else also. It has a cascading effect. Same way now you see customer segment. So these three, all three are for three different categories. They're all online learning platform, but Coursera, usually people prefer who want to use those courses. Either college students do that, who want to show it on their CV. Okay, I've done a course from Harvard through Coursera. I've done a course from Stanford through Coursera. So they want to pay money because they want something on their CV. They want to build it. So Coursera is for those people. Or people in the mid-career who want to shift their career journey or who want a promotion. So Coursera usually people do because using that certificate, they want to get a job or they want to get a promotion. Udemy, nobody does for a promotion or job because Udemy certificate has zero value in the market. I do a lot of courses on Udemy, but I don't do them for certificate. I do only for knowledge. Udemy people do just to learn. Okay, I want to learn this. I don't care about the certificate. I don't want to show off to anybody. But this is what I want to learn. So that's the customer segment for Udemy. LinkedIn Learning is again for people who don't care for certificates, but who want quality thing and who are already, usually people don't buy LinkedIn Learning separately. People who have LinkedIn Premium account, LinkedIn Learning is free for them. So I have a LinkedIn Learning account because I have a LinkedIn Premium. I pay some 1,400 rupees per month for that. Right. So for me, I'm already paying for premium and I want to get some expert. So all three of them, if you see, have different customer segments. Product is same. Customers different, partnerships different, revenue stream different. And because of that, the activities are different, the resources are different, their costing is different. Right? And because of that, the revenue is also different. Is it making sense? So I told you in the beginning also that by the end, you start looking at every business in a different context. Right? Okay. How now you see at any business, you'll say, okay, where are they making a change? What is the difference between these two businesses? Right? You see a very top tier college or university and a normal private college university and put them on a business model canvas. You'll be able to see the difference. A good college will have a lot of partnership with foreign universities, industries. They have good collaboration partnership with the companies so that they come for placement. They have good partnership with foreign universities for internationalization, right? Because that partnership comes at a cost. It requires money to build those partnerships, right? So cost structure will change. For that, your activities will be changed because you will need to focus on building those MOUs, collaborations. You will need a proper internationalization team. You will need a proper collaboration team that goes and reaches out to companies and foreign universities and collaborates. So the resources required will change. Because of that, your cost will go high. But then your revenue will also change because then you will charge more fees. And then your customers will also change because now the students who are coming to you are the students who are willing to pay more fees for that collaboration. All right. Entire business changes. Two different models. One college just doing basic stuff, other doing a lot of collaborations. The entire business model changes. Right. Making sense? So we'll just go through again one example I put to is Khan Academy, we all know. Right? Provides free education to everybody. So if Khan Academy was to put on a business model, how would that look? So what are their customers? They say students all over the world are customers. What are they providing? High quality education for everyone for free. Right? So now for what are their activities? They have to create the content and they have to translate also because they try to reach out in vernacular language also across the globe. So they want people to be able to consume in the local languages. They have to develop their platform, the website and app and maintain it. So two basic activities. Now, if you see what you're talking about here, key activities, key resources, key partners, not all the activities. You might have to do hundreds of activities to run your business. But we're talking about what are the very critical activities that are important for the business to be up and running. What are their resources? What do they need? Because they don't charge money from the students. They are a philanthropic body. They are a not-for-profit body, right? They depend heavily on donations and funding. Second, what is the resources? They need a platform to share the content and they need the video content. Who do they partner with? They partner with, of course, donors and philanthropic organizations because they fund them so that they can keep it free. And they also have to partner with content experts and they have a lot of volunteers that help them out. Right? Now, how do they reach out? How do they deliver the value? So one is they have their own website and app, Khan Academy website and app. So you can go and learn there. They also have a YouTube channel, right? So they have two ways that people can use their product, right? What are their costs? So if you see the major cost, the key costs, important cost is development of the platform, the website and the app. Maintaining it, you have to pay monthly for domain name, for the server space. You know, you have to update, add new videos, all those stuff. You need human resources, do all this stuff, and you need a customer support team as well. So that are the major costs for them. What are the revenue streams? So one is free because they're not charging anything. So they're not making money, but they need money also. So the customers are not paying anything, but the donors are paying them the donations. And that's where they're able to run it. So you see entire landscape mapped over here, right? So these templates, if you want, I think somebody from the team can share, or you can just go to Google and just search business model canvas. You'll find PDFs and a lot of other templates and everything available. A lot of examples. I'm just skipping them. You have Uber example as well, and you have some other examples. But yeah, that's where I think we'll close for the day. Any questions? Any comments? We can take. That's my QR and all, and we can. If there are any questions, maybe we have how much time? Yeah, 7 minutes left. So any questions that we can take or done? No questions means or any thoughts on how you can use this for your students in your teaching career or individually? What was innovative about the session? Somebody said innovative session. What is innovative? Yeah, the tree diagram, right? So again, and because I had this presentation, so earlier I used to teach with this. So if you see this where I start, that's my actual PPT. And if I go here, I normally used to start with this. Okay, this is the business model canvas, and we start talking. Okay, business model canvas looks like this, and what is the customers, and then you talk about this, right? And then you go ahead and examples. But then I said, no, this everybody talk, all the speakers, everybody talks about this. So how can I make it different? Right? What should make my session, my business becomes unique? And I said, nobody talks about it. So I said, okay, I'll create a mind map. And I did the other way around. I covered the entire base. And then I said, okay, now this is a canvas, right? The other way around. So sometimes when we're teaching in the class, we do either one way is you go and serve them everything that you want to teach. But for the first 1 hour, almost 45 minutes to 1 hour, I did not show you the canvas only. This is the main topic, and I revealed the topic towards the end, right? Good. So that is one thing actually. If you want, I'll just share the link if you guys, if anybody's interested. So this is the app called, you can use it if you also want. I'm sharing it. I don't know if my screen is visible yet. Let me put it in the chat box. So if anybody wants to use that, I'll put the link in the chat box. That's called getmind.com. You can go there. It's a free, you can create a free account and you can create that what a tree diagram somebody said. Actually, the actual word for them is a mind map. You can create a mind map there. And you can also use this in your, I do it a lot in my teaching also because it makes very easier. And you, every time you click and then it reveals. And then at the end, it gives you the entire picture, right? So sometimes it's better than a PowerPoint. And there is another way. One more thing. Again, I don't see a lot of people doing it, but you should have your own personal web page as well. So I just put my link over it. So I can have a look at everything. I normally don't carry my cards these days or a lot of things. Just one link you share. Of course, you have to pay something for that, but then everything gets in one place. Okay. So if there are no questions, I think we can wrap it up. One thing I would say, I think, and I think that not only personal, but on behalf of all the organizers as well, two things we actually should do. One is we should actually, let me stop sharing this. We should actually take a quick uh, selfie screenshot so everybody can turn on the camera. We can quickly take a photo, right? And okay, I see Dr. Ajita has also joined. Good to see you, ma'am.
Hi, sir. I
Hi.
have joined, but I'm not able to is there some setting where the host can only give us access to our cameras?
No, no, everybody is able to do it on their own, I think.
Okay, so I don't know why I cannot.
I can see here it shows your camera is on.
Yeah, but I can't see my image.
Now you can. Now even
Okay,
I cannot see it.
maybe I just received it.
Uh, Still not working. Okay, if people can, I'm still waiting for some people so we can take a quick screenshot. That's one. Second is again on behalf of the organizing team as well. So we talked about branding and all. What happened? Why did this go as spotlight? Yeah. How many of you are very reasonably active on LinkedIn? Anybody? How many of you are active on LinkedIn? None? No one?
I am, I can say.
Yeah, of course you are there. I'm talking about the participants here. So ma'am is there
Okay.
and we both are active. She's also very active over there. That's one platform I think if you're talking about entrepreneurship and all. I spoke about brand, right? And we don't, as teachers, we don't build our personal brand. I think we need to have that, right? So one request or advice is that get active on LinkedIn actually at least, right? And keep posting. And you have to have active profile. And I normally say, and I insist. In fact, I wrote a post a few weeks ago on LinkedIn that I, with my students, with my colleagues, I practically bully them to be on LinkedIn. पीछे पड़ जाता हूँ मैं, why you're not LinkedIn, why you don't, and you have to post something, right? And people sometimes think, why are you doing this? Because I know the power of LinkedIn because I have benefited from that myself. Today, I get invited to some of the top. I've been to, if you heard the introduction, I've been to some of the IITs and all. This weekend, I'm going to some IIM Kozhikode. I'm doing some session, some evaluation. Probably, I'm both guys. They're calling. So all these places I'm going. Most of it has happened because of my LinkedIn presence. You go do something, you post something, somebody sees over there, and they say, "Okay, would you come to us?" And that's how it builds up. And then once you build that some kind of a portfolio, then you can be like the king. ठीक है, I'm no more just a normal faculty now, right? So I think we all need to do that. Otherwise, the system keeps taking benefit of you. Okay, 12:29. Last 1 minute. If there are no questions, nothing. Okay, did I take the screenshot? I think I'll need to take it once again because it did not get saved. So I'm going to take it once again. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you so much for being such a non-question asking audience. And I hope that whatever we discuss helps you in some way and can either with your teaching, learning, or your own personal thing, and combine this with all the other learnings that you're getting throughout the other session. I think by the end of this program, you would leave this
Yes, sir,
program.
I'm great, sir. What are things?
Yeah, yeah, done.
Right.
Let's close this.
Excuse me, may I proceed with what of things? Post coordinators. Since I'm a proceed with vote of thanks, sir. Roll number 26. Amal, sir.
Number 26, you can propose the vote of thanks.
Roll number 27. Roll number 27. सर आपका वीडियो बंद कीजिए, माइक ऑन ऑन रहेंगे बस, क्योंकि आपका वीडियो के सिर्फ क्या हो रहा, माइक बोलिए सर।
Yes, sir. My voice.
यस यस, और आपका ब्रेक आवाज ब्रेक हो रहा है सर।
Hello.
यस यस राइट सर।
Hello, Amol sir. Are you getting my voice? All
यस
of
यस
you?
यस सर।
Hello.
हाँ सर, आपका आवाज आ रहा है सर, आपका आवाज आ रहा है सर, आप बोलिए सर। रोल नंबर 27।
Yes, sir. Amol sir, are you getting my voice?
यस यस, आपका आवाज आ रहा है सर, बोलिए।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of UGC Molecular Mission Teacher Training Center of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, I would like to introduce today's guest of honor of this session, Dr. Arjeeta Srivastava ma'am. Dr. Arjeeta Srivastava ma'am, who is a development economist with academic and corporate experience, specializes in entrepreneurship, particularly women entrepreneurship in India. She is an economics undergraduate from Delhi University. She has completed her master in development studies from Ambedkar University, Delhi, and a PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia. The research focuses on women's entrepreneurship, risk-taking abilities, gender and development, and female education, with numerous publications in these areas. She has hands-on experience with a grassroots project involving government and NGOs, having associated with some reputed universities. She has also served as area chair entrepreneurship at the reputed Lloyd Business School, having established their business incubators. She is currently serving as a faculty at Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Bennett University, where she mentors student startups and takes courses on economics and entrepreneurship. So once again, I welcome to all of you, and I would request to today's guest of honor of this session, Dr. Arjeeta ma'am, to start your session. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this elaborate introduction. And a very good afternoon to everybody present. I am honored to be a part of this program. I'm sure it's a great learning experience. I've been able to join on and off, but this is a great initiative by AIC BAMU and the university. And more such things should keep happening for us academicians to stay connected, right? So what I'll do is I'll quickly share my screen. 1 minute. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So, today's topic for the session is identifying business opportunities for startups. So there were two basic parameters which I wanted to understand when I wanted to take up this topic. One was how and when is the best time and approach to grab an opportunity and develop it into a business. Second was, while staying in a startup, what are the options for growth and development? So, in this particular session, I've tried to put together both these ideas and come to a common ground wherein some common concepts are discussed. From what I could gather from Amit sir, all of us are educators here, and nowadays, entrepreneurship and innovation is not something which is restricted to the field of management or to startups and ventures. When we talk of entrepreneurship now, we are talking about the entrepreneurial set of mind that needs to be developed. A lot of companies, when they come for placements to our institutes, to different universities and colleges to which all of us belong, the first thing that they are looking for in a student when they come to hire them is whether this particular person will be able to tackle the real problems that the company is facing. Developing an entrepreneurial mindset goes a long way in facilitating the child, in making him or her capable to handle any situation that comes forth. So when we are talking about entrepreneurship, one thing which is very basic that we need to understand is entrepreneurship does not necessarily culminate into a startup or a venture. Entrepreneurship is an approach, it's a mindset by which we can tackle each and every segment of our life, each and every aspect of our life. We can do that, right? So, with that introduction and with that vision, I'm taking this session forward. The first thing that I want to take you through is the session overview. We will be discussing what business opportunities actually means, and moving on, we will understand how we identify a business opportunity. I'm sure a lot of us in our colleges and universities, respectively, we are in the role of a mentor as well. And a lot of students, they come up with ideas, with the passion for something. And we need to be equipped with the knowledge to help them out and make them understand whether their idea is going to work or not. So, something like that is what we are trying to touch upon today. Then we will be studying about validating and refining the opportunities that present themselves. And lastly, we would end the session with a very, very small case study and an interactive discussion. Okay, right. So, understanding what a business opportunity is, there is a very, very significant difference between an idea and an opportunity. Would anyone want to share what their particular understanding is of the difference between an idea and an opportunity? Or maybe you can type it. I'll just check. Any responses there? What is the difference between idea and opportunity?
Opportunity can be grabbed and idea can be come in your mind.
Perfect. Exactly. So when we talk about opportunity and idea, this is the, sorry? Okay. I'm sorry, that was not audible, but I mean, sir is absolutely right. When we are talking about an idea, we are talking about a notion, we are talking about an impression that makes us excited. You want to create something, and it comes to your mind, and it basically addresses you as a would-be entrepreneur. You have an idea which excites you, and you see it like a business opportunity. In reality, it may or may not be an actual business opportunity. When we talk about opportunity in itself, it is very different from an idea. Opportunity is, if we define it in one line, it is a favorable set of circumstances that create the need for a new product or service. So, supposing we are in a situation where today, if we order vegetables online, within 10 minutes, within 5 minutes, we are getting things. Was it not available previously? Was home delivery not available? I remember from my own experience, every city, every colony in our cities would have that one grocery shop, that one sabzi wala bhaiya, who would be willing to send things home, right? And we would just go, our mothers or parents would just go and tell them ki we need all these things and aap isko hamare ghar bhijwa dijiyega, and they would say yes, eventually when the boy comes we'll send it. Now that boy could be at your doorstep within 10 minutes, or maybe late in the evening when they shut down the shop. Where did Zepto and Blinkit and Swiggy, Insta, Mart, they saw these opportunities? When they saw that the customer is willing to pay maybe a little extra to get their demand fulfilled in a specific period of time, say 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Again, this was a point when this was an opportunity because the circumstances were favorable. We are in a position wherein we want to pay maybe 10 rupees, 15 minutes of delivery charge, wherein we are assured that we'll get the good in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? So this is the basic difference when we talk about idea and opportunity. An idea will be a thought, will be an impression, a notion which will excite you, and an opportunity is a favorable set of circumstances that create the need for a new product or service. An opportunity essentially will be attractive because it originates from an idea. It will be timely. That is the second important factor when we talk about an opportunity. It stays in a pretty small window. And if we don't grab it at that point of time, it goes. Then it has to be durable. If you have to develop your idea at the right time and to make it a sustainable business, your idea should be in a way that you're able to cater to something for a longer period of time. And then again, your opportunity will always be anchored in a service or a product or a business that creates or adds value to the buyer or the end user, right? So this was the basic difference between idea and opportunity. What are the characteristics of a good business opportunity? If we want to just give definition words to it, one is, like I said, market demand. Anything that you produce, if it's creating some value for the end user, for the customer, only then is it an opportunity. Today, if I imagine, say, making some pen or something which nobody wants in the market, it might be a brilliant idea, it might be a very good product, but I wouldn't have the opportunity to sell it, so again it falls flat on its face. Then scalability. If you have a situation in hand wherein you can produce a good or service and it is scalable in nature, again it can be identified as a good opportunity. Profitability. As we know, entrepreneurs, they work for profit. So profitability is another factor wherein opportunity can be identified if you see that there is some profitability possible in this particular venture. And lastly, and most importantly, is feasibility. Whether a particular idea that you're working on and trying to convert into an opportunity is feasible for you in the long run. So a lot of people we hear say is, so many startups keep getting built across India, across the world. 90% of them fail. A lot of researches are going around and why these 90% startups fail. The basic answer to that is the feasibility. The feasibility analysis that is done at the time of building your business plan is not up to the mark. If you know that your business is going to be feasible for a longer period of time, again, it is a very good opportunity wherein your idea can be converted into a workable venture. So, ideas and opportunities, entrepreneurial firms are stimulated either externally or internally, while idea is a notion and or an impression, and opportunity is a favorable set of circumstances. Then, coming to how are opportunities recognized? How would you know whether an opportunity is, sorry, how would you know whether an opportunity is right or whether a particular situation, a particular set of circumstances is actually an opportunity in itself? The first and most important thing that you see here is whether it is a business that will be solving existing problems. So, like the example that I took for Zepto and Blinkit, the existing problem was people wanting something delivered to their house with whatever a delivery charge is there, they are okay paying for it. Their restriction was time. They wanted things to be delivered to their house in a particular period of time, and if a business is solving that problem, it is a great opportunity. Similarly, when we talk about say websites or services like Make My Trip, people are confused when they want to see a tourist spot and they don't know which hotels to go to, which destinations, what would be the conveyance, etc., etc. Something like a Make My Trip will ease your life by solving that problem for the customer. Again, an opportunity wherein it can be developed into a good business. Second important point to identify an opportunity is finding the market gaps. What is it that the market is not offering? Right. So this is another important point wherein opportunity can be recognized in this particular phase. And the third and most important part is observing the trends. Again, say any fashion brand, if we take, so a lot of brands nowadays are coming up with sustainable fashion, fabric that is eco-friendly, etc., etc. Again, these brands that are trying to build their products along these lines have taken into consideration the trends that are there. So globally now, with the SDGs, with sustainability and green earth and etc., etc., people are more aware of the way in which they are living, the use that they have of their products, the imprint that they're leaving, the carbon footprint that they are leaving. So now maybe today I would want to consume water with a wooden straw or a bamboo straw rather than a plastic straw. I would probably carry my own bottle everywhere I go rather than use plastic bottles, right? Similarly, for clothing, there's a huge dump that is being created in and around the world of clothing that is, easy fashion, wear and throw. So these brands that are coming up in the field of sustainable fashion are becoming popular, are becoming ethical in a way, right? So observing trends is something that can help you build your business, and it can help you identify an opportunity. Again, this is a very tricky part because it should not be confused with the passing fads that are there, right? If you're talking about trends, we should be having a policy backup, we should be having our numbers correct, and we should be looking at global trends to start with. Okay. Then the types of business opportunities that are there, there can be many. There can be innovation driven versus necessity driven opportunities. Innovation driven opportunities of business, we are just seeing them all over the place now. So many apps that are AI backed, so many tools for data analysis that are there. So all these are innovation driven. While necessity driven entrepreneurship is maybe something like any of the medical devices that we see getting created, wherein you can actually check your blood pressure without even piercing your finger, right? So your innovation driven and necessity driven opportunities are a set of opportunities wherein you can actually see chances of developing and growing a business. Second type of business opportunities is traditional versus emerging industries. Again, when we are talking about traditional businesses and their evolution with time, we are also talking about intrapreneurship. Again, a very important factor when we discuss emerging business trends. So traditional entrepreneurship, traditional businesses wherein there are chances of intrapreneurship, and emerging industries. Emerging industries, we have a lot of examples to take from. There is AI backed scanning devices. Then we have a lot of gadgets that are being used. So a lot of these things are actual possibilities wherein your business can be developed and it can thrive. Then the trends shaping the new opportunities like AI and automation, sustainability and green business, and digital economy, like we discussed. Now, what can be some of the sources of business opportunities? The sources can be market gaps and customer pain points. While existing in a market, if you realize that okay, there are certain gaps that are not being addressed, you can always grab onto that opportunity after doing the homework, right? So when we think about a very simple example, is that of mattresses. A lot of big brands like Sleepwell and a lot of other brands that are there. What they do is, they initially, what happened was, they used to have these big mattresses, king size, queen size, and coir based and memory foam, etc., etc., etc. The biggest problem that came about was the logistical part, wherein if from the manufacturing facility, say 1,000 pieces have to be moved to, say, different points of distribution, one to Ahmedabad, one to Delhi, one to, say, some place in Punjab, one to Kerala, etc. The logistics was a very big problem. Comes in Wakefit, and they come with their vacuum sealing cylindrical packaging of their mattresses, even if it is a 6x6 king size one. So here, the whole outsourcing that was done for their packaging gained a lot of business, because this was a pain point for the customer as well as for the manufacturer supplying. Now, in that one truck, which usually used to carry, say, 3, 4, 5, 10 pieces, now they can actually carry 100 because they're just rolls that are there, right? So whenever an opportunity is arising, probably there's a market gap or a customer pain point that can be addressed, right? Then technological advancements again form a very important source of business opportunities. What happens is today, if I am probably a homemaker who is very good with making pickles or papad or such things, like a lot of these South Indian brands that are coming up on Instagram, you just swipe through and you see so many Sri Lakshmi sweets and other things, and jhaji achar and all those things. These are the brands that these are the businesses that were doing well locally, right? But with technological advancements, they got an opportunity to become digitized. They got an opportunity to reach a wider market, to grab that share of the market which initially organized corporates were latching on to, right? So technological advancements is another segment wherein your business, when it combines with the same, can actually thrive. Another set of business opportunities can come from government policies and regulatory changes. So I'm very sure all of you are aware. So there's this set of villages in Bihar, specifically northern and eastern Bihar, wherein a lot of artists are there. Home products are produced. They produce paintings. They produce bed sheets. They produced fashion wearables like dupattas and saris and all. And Maithili art is something that they associate themselves with, right? Comes a government policy from the KVIC sector, and they say that, okay, this can be geotagged. This is a regulatory change that we are doing. And now, because you are a specific set, a particular cluster that is already formed, we will provide you with certain infrastructural support, with certain fund support, wherein you can get your apparatus, your colors, your fabric, etc., etc., and work will help you build your business. Again, somebody who was just doing it for the sake of doing it, or was not doing it at all but had the talent of doing it, got this opportunity to actually commercialize their own talent. And probably a homemaker who was painting just the walls of her house now takes out 2 hours in the evening and actually paints some canvas and sells it online or to the government agencies or other people who are coming to do business there, right? So government policies and regulatory changes again have a very, very important and a very significant impact when we talk about sources of business opportunities. Another example can be about the dairy products that are produced in the northern belt of India, say Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, NCR also for that matter. So MSMEs are a very important sector when we talk about dairy products. These are micro a lot of times when we think about dairy products, big brands come to our mind, say Amul and Mother Dairy, etc. But when we're talking about dairy products in the micro segment, we have a lot of players in the market. They're producing a lot of things, from buttermilk to curd to milk to sweets, a lot of things. Government policies favoring such micro entrepreneurs or businesses gives them ample space, support, and encouragement to actually build upon their businesses and probably inspire the next generation of people to get on board in the same business. Then, socio-economic and cultural trends again form a very important scope of business opportunities. When we are talking about, say, a particular wave of religious awareness that is happening, I see a lot of youngsters. I'm sure you see your students as well. They A lot of youngsters now nowadays, if they're probably visiting, say, a temple like Kedarnath or some other religious site, they ensure that they put it up as their status, they flaunt it, they show the trek all the way to the mountain, and they do all of those things, which was probably in the 90s when people used to comparable in a way, when people used to party and post pictures of the same. Nowadays it is a trend. And to commercialize on this trend, to gain on this trend, there is a range of business opportunities that are there in products dealing with maybe religious practices, etc. Foolco is one company that came up with a brilliant plan of getting things, I'm sure everybody is aware. So what happened was, a lot of flowers get offered to the deity or to the person you're praying to in a lot of religious places, right? Temples, mosques, you see it in churches even. Flowers are offered, right? And what happens once these flowers are offered and then again another day begins? These flowers, they become shriveled. They either end up in probably near trees or in rivers or in a pit, right? So Fulco came up with this idea of actually using these flowers and creating incense sticks. Okay, so this was where they started from. They started using these recycled, flower petals and leaves, etc., and they developed a range of products. Initially, they started with incense sticks. Now, after a good period of time, they've gotten into essential oils, into dhoop sticks, into scented camphors and all of that, right? A great business opportunity that was seen as an important socio-economic and cultural trend, right? People want to visit temples, mosques, religious places. They will eventually offer flowers, and it's a great business opportunity. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this example, but from the Mahakumbh itself, people who are just putting, the tika that people are visiting, they're earning so much in a day, and with probably not a lot of input cost, right? Again, a brilliant opportunity that has been seized by people who are actually making money there. Then another source of business opportunities is through personal expertise and experience. I will want to expand this further. When we are talking about personal expertise and experience, we see people who are knowledgeable in a particular segment in the market gain something out of it by building a business around it. Say the brand of Nika, right? Nika was something like this, a personal expertise that was developed into a full-time business. Okay, so these are some of the sources of business opportunities that are there. When we come to some examples that we take, probably when we talk about market gaps and customer pain points, the delivery part is the best possible example. We talk about Dunzo, we talk about Zepto when we are talking about sources of business opportunities. These were the people who actually identified that there is a problem, there is a gap, and we can actually fill this gap and make money out of it, right? When we talk about, say, healthcare, when we talk about healthcare, a lot of old people, when we talk about geriatric illnesses and take care, a lot of old people are not in a condition, and even youngsters for that matter, do not have the right time and everything to go to a pathology, to go to a lab and get themselves tested, which is again very important if you are ill or even if you're not ill, for regular checkups. Thyrocare, and after that a lot of other brands came up with this 1mg. They came up with this idea that why not send our representatives to their house and get it done. Not that it was not happening previously, it was happening way back in the 80s and 90s, but it was happening only when you knew the guy who used to take samples. He would say, okay, I'll come to your place and I'll get it done. It was not a common practice. These people, when they saw that there's an opportunity lying here, people probably are not in favor of going all the way to the pathology or the diagnostic center. They commercialized by formalizing this channel and making it a full vertical wherein they can offer these services for money, right? So affordable healthcare is again a market gap that was addressed. When we talk about technological advancements, again, UPI, money transfer, was one very good example. Not just because cash was discontinued for some time, but again for us it becomes very easy to keep a record of what we are spending, how much we are spending, if we are using a UPI platform for transactions. Another very good example from technological advancements is that of edtech companies. Edtech companies which were doing fairly well even before COVID, they went on to do amazingly well during the COVID period. And surprisingly, apart from one example that we all know, apart from that, a lot of these companies are still working and doing recognizable productive work, right? Because they use technology as a platform to build their businesses and offer their products and services. Again, when we talk about government and regulatory changes that happen, and policies and regulatory changes that happen, we are talking about changes that are not necessarily meant just for development of business. However, the impact is such that there's a domino effect wherein one policy, because it is generated or it is created, supports and encourages a lot of businesses that are there. Say something like an EV, right? When the government came up with this policy of discontinuing, say, diesel vehicles in a particular year, EVs found a chance to grow, right? So there came Ola Electric, there came Ather Energy, etc., and they saw that there's a very good market which we can capture, maybe not immediately in the short run, but in the long run. And in the short run, what we can do is we can sensitize the customer about our product, so that eventually when they're forced to switch to an EV, they know which one is the best brand to depend upon, and there's sort of a brand loyalty that gets built there, right? Another important policy intervention can be something like in the sector of agri-tech, right? Something like a DHART, which is formalizing farmers and equipment sellers and seed providers and everyone on one platform, right? So government policies and regulatory changes again can be a very good source of business opportunities. When we're talking about socio-economic and cultural trends, cultural, I explained, like I took the example of Fulco. Another example can be, when the COVID period hit, a lot of us got uh, this habit of working from home, right? And eventually, when people had to go back to their office space, it was a problem, not just for the people who were working and who had to leave the comfort of their home and go to the office, also for the people who did not have full buildings of their own and they were renting space, etc., etc. Here came a cultural change in the way of working, wherein there was an opportunity for people like WeWork, people like 91 Springboards to actually come up with co working spaces, to come up with hybrid models wherein you can just book a room. You can have your meeting there. You can maybe book 5 offices for one day. You have a co-working space, and you don't have to actually invest in a building, in infrastructure, nothing, and your business is also running well. So again, a cultural trend that happened and a change that happened, and it gave way to a possible business. So before COVID, it was very less known. I mean, I'm sure it existed, but it was not known that well. If you speak to a business, if you speak to a person about their business, you would simply ask, where is your office? Today, if I say that, okay, I don't have a permanent office, but I do have a co-working space at WeWork, and you can meet me there after fixing an appointment, the other person will not be surprised or shocked. They will know that, okay, fine, yeah, this is a trend, that these things happen now, right? When we talk about socio-economic changes, again, the whole trend, the whole bent towards organic, towards less pesticides, less chemicals, etc., has led to a lot of business opportunities for people. Like organic farming is something. If you get one set of vegetables which is from a regular market and another set of vegetables which is branded as organic, the organic one is going to cost you higher. People are willing to pay more, and this was a very good business opportunity that was identified by people like Organic India, by people like Juicy Chemistry, right, wherein they are getting organic products, or they are branding organic products, making them chemical free, and they're offering it. Same is happening in the case of cosmetics. If we talk about, I mean, a lot of girls here, I'm sure females here, who are using cosmetics, they know that cruelty free cosmetics, where there's a rabbit made and there's a cross made on the cosmetic product. So cruelty free is the latest trend. So if you see a lipstick, if you see a foundation or whatever, and it has that mark, you're more willing to pay for it because it is a trend, it's less harmful for your skin, it doesn't have chemicals, or sulfate free shampoos for that matter. Again, a great business opportunity, because people became more aware about the effects of chemicals on them. People became more aware about the cruelty that animals were going through because of labs testing on them these cosmetics and other things. So again, a socio-economic and cultural change that happened, right? And again, Nika's example I took for personal expertise and experience, wherein women led businesses in niche segment like Nika, right? Okay. So this is basically, before I go on to this, I would want to also take up some of the personal characteristics that are important for opportunity recognition. One is your prior experience. You worked in a particular field, you know that, okay, this thing will work, this will not work. Again, happens a lot when we're talking about traditional businesses and their diversification, right? Then is the cognitive factors, that is your analytical skills. How well versed are you with the ways or the mechanism, say if it's a share market dependent business that you're working on. So how polished are you in that particular trade? So that's there, the cognitive factors. Then comes the social networks. Again, if you are probably in a family business or if you are in a community business, right? This is an important factor that tells you whether an opportunity will be workable or it will not be workable. Then again, the creative flair. There are eureka moments wherein you think of an idea, you think this idea has the potential to be a good business opportunity, and then it works out just because you're depended on your creative flair for the same. Again, this is a very tricky section, but yes, a factor nonetheless, right? So we have this table now that we are going through, this diagram, wherein how do you identify an opportunity that can be developed into a business? So there's a proper route map that we follow. There are the environmental trends that we see, the economic factors, the social factors, the technological advances, the political and regulatory changes. And these are the factors wherein you can find opportunities for business, right? This has to be mapped with the personal characteristics of an entrepreneur, whether they have prior experience, whether they have the required cognitive factors, whether they have the social networks and creativity, etc. Right? When these two combine, an idea can actually think of developing into a business, because these two will ensure that that idea is not just an idea but an actual opportunity, right? So business, product or service opportunity gap is addressed, the difference between what's available and what's possible is identified and mapped, and eventually that leads to a new business, product, service, or a business, right? Okay. All right. So the environmental trends suggesting business or product opportunity gaps can be mapped in this particular way. The economic forces, social forces, technological advances, and political and regulatory changes. So why I'm emphasizing on this particular table, this particular flow, is because of today's topic. How do you identify whether this particular opportunity is going to be workable or not? These are some of the factors that you have to keep into consideration when you are thinking about the possibilities of converting an opportunity into a workable business. One is the economic forces. What is the state of the economy? What is the level of disposable income that people have? And what are the consumer spending patterns? Very, very important. I mean, I think economic forces are one of the most important forces that affect the businesses of anything. Supposing you are planning on a business that pertains to, say, the supply of avocado, right? Probably an avocado which sells for 120 rupees a piece or 100 rupees a piece will not be a very great fruit to be sold in a JJ colony. However, in a posh locality like say like a GK or South Delhi in Delhi NCR, you can easily sell it. People probably will buy more than 2 4 pieces, whatever, as per their requirement, right? So the consumer spending patterns, the level of disposable income is very, very important, right? So if you're probably going to cater to a middle class segment wherein the budget for entertainment purposes is limited, it's within a bracket, you will not be very I don't think you should be very convinced of selling probably a movie ticket for 1,000 rupees and additional 500 rupees for a caramel popcorn. You will not do that, because you know that if I'm targeting a middle class a middle class segment as my target audience, target population, target customers, they will not be willing to pay for it, right? So consumer spending patterns, level of disposable income, and again the state of the economy along with the law and governance is very, very important. Any business opportunities that are existing in a place will never ever flourish if there are disturbances in the area. We have a lot of cases in point within our country itself, wherein we see that if the law and order conditions are not good, businesses don't thrive, and if there is a change, businesses start thriving, right? So that's there. Coming to the social forces, social and cultural trends, like I explained, form a very important opportunity, identifier when it comes to business opportunities. The demographic changes. Again, say something like a Blinkit or a Zepto is going to in a place where the youth is more probably comfort loving, or probably they know that they want to spend more of their time in doing something else productive rather than rushing to a store, spending some good 20-30 minutes coming and going, and just to buy a small item, right? So they're willing to pay that additional fee and save that time because they believe in a particular phrase that says time is money, right? So again, demographic changes matter a lot, and what people think is in the trends thing that I was talking about again, right? Technological advancements, new technologies, emerging technologies, new uses of old technologies again gives you a lot of scope for developing new businesses. And last but not the least, political and regulatory changes, new changes in political arena, new laws and regulations. Say something like the Startup India program, something like say 20,000 CR being allocated, earmarked exclusively for innovation and entrepreneurship. I mean, I'm not really sure how much of it is going to trickle down, but at least at the policy level, it's in place. So yes, people might feel a little more inspired, right? So that's there. All of this, when combined, they go to business, product, or service opportunity gap, the differences between what's available and what's possible. And moving on from there, you go to new business, product, and service ideas. Then coming to some of the tools and frameworks for identifying opportunities. And just a gut feeling or just an understanding of the trend does not ensure that the opportunity that you see as an opportunity is going to work. There are certain parameters that have to be taken care of. One is the SWOT analysis. I'm sure all of us are aware, the strength, weakness, opportunity and threat analysis for a particular business that you think of developing. It's a very basic tool. I'm not getting into the details of the same. Second is design thinking, wherein the idea generation techniques, say something like brainstorming, role play, say reverse thinking, mind mapping, forced relationship, storyboarding, all these things, they are clubbed together within the design thinking model. And you can actually think of a proper solution to a problem that you're trying to cater to, and get rewards out of it when you commercialize the same. Third important tool that you can use to identify a business opportunity is a BMC, or a business model canvas. Sir, in the last session, I think took it up really, really well. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time, although I've added some parts of it. So business model canvassing is again a very, very strong, very, very strong tool when it comes to analyzing the situation before starting your business or before putting in the required amount of resources and energy into building your business, right? And the last is the market research techniques. Last but most important is the market research techniques, right? Okay. Let's first take the example of the business model canvas. I'm sure sir, took this really well. Just want to add on, when we are working on something like a business model canvas, this I've taken from Strategizer. You start working from the left and then you go towards the right. Eventually move on to the revenue streams, and you want to end at the cost structure, right? So that way the flow is organic in a way, and again you have a fair idea of where the business is headed, at least virtually, before conceptually, I would say, before you actually put in the energy that is required for the same. Before moving on to the next part, I would want to discuss some of the market research techniques, like I said, are very, very important when we speak about tools and framework for identifying an opportunity. What can be some of the best market research techniques? So, one of the reasons when we talk about failing entrepreneurial ventures is they don't listen to their customers. They listen a lot to themselves. They listen a lot to the fellow entrepreneurs that are there with them. They might also listen a lot to their team, but the entrepreneurs who are not doing very, very well, or they had to stop business after, say, a year of functioning, or as you know, a failed startup, they probably were not listening to their customers. right? So when we are talking about market research techniques, these are the techniques which will help you listen to the customer so that you can plan your move ahead. So there are basically three segments here. One is the primary research techniques. Primary research techniques is the method for direct data which you collect. We're all aware, about the questionnaires and surveys that we do. Customer interviews is another important tool that can be used as a primary research technique. And focus groups, yes. Observation and ethnographic research is another important part. So something as simple as probably a veshti would not have a lot of demand maybe in Punjab, right? And if you're thinking of expanding your apparel brand and you think about, okay, I'll be selling, say, this particular set of traditional Indian attire from a particular state in another state, you will have to do an ethnographic study to understand whether people there actually wear it or not, right? If you try to probably sell a mekhla from Assam, which again sells in at all rates, very expensive, very beautiful, fabric is great, etc., etc., but you will find it very difficult to sell it in a J&K, right? Because the clothing attire is very different. So ethnographic research is very, very important when you're talking about business opportunities. Same happens in uh, consumer durables, same happens in food industry, same happens in beverage industry, right? So again, these things are that have to be taken care of. Observation is another very, very important tool which always gets sidelined when we are talking about primary research techniques. And then obviously prototype testing and MVP feedback, your minimum viable product that you've created, the feedback that you get on that from your pilot is very, very important. So this was about primary market research techniques. When we talk about the secondary research techniques, we are talking about the analysis of the existing data that is there. So here we will be discussing things about, say, industry reports. We will be looking at census. We will be looking at economics data. We will be looking at government reports. We will be looking at competitor analysis, market trends. We will also be looking a lot at social media, a lot at social media. So a lot of, say, for example, jewelry brands. A lot of jewelry brands are doing very well. I'm sure some of the girls would know in the lightweight jewelry segment, partially real gold, partially authentic wala, the segment that's there. Palmonas is the brand that has come up recently, right? Every other ad that you see on Instagram is of Palmonas, right? So why is that happening? How these people realize that, okay, there's a market segment there as well? Because they're able to see the social media trends. You're able to see, okay, Palmonas ads are doing really well. Okay, probably Jiva is doing very, very well. Why not get into a business like this where the market is extensive? People do not want to invest in a lot of heavy gold that stays locked in their bank lockers. People do not want to spend a major part of their disposable income on some part of jewelry which they're not going to be able to wear daily. So probably something like this will be really, really nice. So social media trends, a Tanish seizes, Mia, they launch another, category wherein it's lightweighted jewelry. Palmonas being launched, Jiva being launched, so many different traditional players actually jumped onto this bandwagon, studying social media trends and competitor analysis, doing these things, right? So, secondary research techniques to identify opportunities again are a very important set of tools that you have to be acquainted with, and you have to acquaint your obviously introduce your students to. Then, third and very, very upcoming and important is data analytics. When we talk about web and search analytics, when we talk about search engine optimization, all these things go a long way in understanding whether a particular opportunity that you're thinking of developing as a business will work or not. You have to understand the sentiment. If you're probably thinking of commercializing or using an e-commerce platform for your product or service, will probably first go to an Amazon or a Flipkart or a Mintra or a Meesho or whatever platform that your good is associated with, and see what are the other products in this particular segment doing? How are they performing? What are the sales strata there, right? So your sentiment analysis is very, very important to identify whether there's an opportunity for a particular business to thrive or not. Then your AI and predictive analytics, crowdsourcing, and community feedback are other important factors, other important tools that will be required when we talk about market research techniques. Okay, BMC we discussed. Some of the market validation methods are customer interviews and surveys, prototyping and MVP testing, which is done obviously on a pilot, and competitor and industry analysis. Now, some of the common mistakes. Now, so far we've understood the difference between an idea and an opportunity. We've understood the personality traits that an entrepreneur requires to understand which is a good opportunity, which is not. We put both of them together and we saw what are the possible opportunities, the birthplaces of opportunities, government policies, technological advancement, socio-cultural, etc., right? We saw that. We saw how to check whether an opportunity is going to work or not work. So we've covered 4 major points in this session so far. Now we are coming to common mistakes in opportunity identification. What you do is you overestimate the market size. Again, this is something that will happen when you are not listening to your customer. Again, it just boils down to that one line. You have to listen to your customer. You are estimating the market size. You are putting in the required resources, and then you are stuck with a lot of inventory. And again, your business goes bust for this reason. Then ignoring customer feedback, keeping that superiority in mind that, okay, I am the one who's given birth to this particular product or service. This is the best in the market. So what happens is in idea generation techniques, what we do is a lot of times we have the role play thing, my company's employees, they act as customers and I tell them why this product should be bought by them, and they tell me why it should not be bought by them, right? So I will say all the good things about my product, they will say all the negative things, or even if not about the product, they might say good things about other products that they might buy rather than buy my piece, right? So ignoring customer feedback is something which is disaster max when it comes to building your business, right? Then choosing passion over profitability. Again, there's a difference between a person who's following their passion as a hobby or whatever and running a business. As an entrepreneur, you have to be very, very clear, very, very sure that you are not driven just by passion. Passion obviously is the fuel to your fire when it comes to developing your idea. You have to put in the extra hours. You have to probably skip your meals, skip your sleep. You're working. If you're working on a day job, and then at night you go back and you work on your project that you want to develop as an entrepreneur. All of that is given. All of that is understood, taken, but at a point when you are launching your business, choosing your passion over your profitability is never a wise idea, right? And then lack of scalability. You always have to work when you're talking about a business wherein a lack of scalability is going to not make you see the uh, probably another year of functioning, right? So right from the onset, right from the point when you're developing your business plan, you should know that in a 5-year or a 10-year plan, when you're breaking even, how you're going to scale, what are the investments going to be, and that is where market research, that is where your business plan development, that is where your feasibility studies become very, very important. Okay, now this is a very, very short case study that I wanted to discuss with the people here. So, Greenbox is a startup. It is founded by 2 young entrepreneurs, identified a growing concern over plastic waste in e-commerce packaging. All of us know we order maybe something small from Amazon or Flipkart, and they give it in a very big box and they put all sorts of rubbish in it. They developed eco-friendly, biodegradable packaging solutions and targeted small businesses looking for sustainable alternatives, right? So there are 2 or 3 things that we need to see here. One is the problem that they are addressing. The problem that they are addressing is that in e-commerce packaging, there is a lot of plastic waste that gets generated. This is a problem that they want to address at Greenbox. Then what is the initiative that they are taking? They are developing eco-friendly biodegradable packaging, right? And what is their target audience? Their target audience is small businesses, and these small businesses that are looking for sustainable alternatives, right? Again, the target segment is very, 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 very tiny. Okay, just to think out loud here, small businesses are usually the businesses that are working on a limited budget. And when you're working on a limited budget, the cost of packaging should be as low as possible. And when you're talking about low cost of packaging, you will be talking about packaging firms that are producing a larger scale of packaging material. And that will happen when you're talking about plastic packaging, right? So for these small businesses, ideal is plastic packaging because it will cost them very, very less. It will be in their budget. But Greenbox is targeting such small businesses that are looking for sustainable alternatives, right? So one segment is small business, and that too a smaller niche they are going to is those small businesses that are looking for sustainable alternatives. What were some of the challenges faced here? So there was high production cost, obviously, because it's a new technique and might not be that scalable, etc. Market adoption hesitation. Even though they want to target small businesses who want to look for sustainable packaging solutions, the credibility of the brand is a problem because it's a new brand. Then competition from traditional packaging firms. Like I said, traditional packaging firms have their inventory in place, have their machinery in place. The scale of operation is such wherein the cost of production is really low. They're making their profits. They're providing packaging material at lesser prices to their customers. So it's good for them. So challenge these are some of the challenges that are faced by Greenbox. What are the key decisions that they take? They partner with local eco-conscious brands. Again, a niche within a niche they are targeting, partnering with local eco-conscious brands. They are securing government sustainability grants. One, again, when we talk of opportunities, we are talking about um, circumstances that are favorable, right? So government, again, because we are a part of UN and SDGs have to be followed, etc. So sustainability grants, and then running pilot programs to demonstrate the impact. Again, this again is a gap in this case. Why? Because when we talk about plastic waste, when we talk about a life cycle of a plastic waste product, it's a very long period. So pilot programs to demonstrate impact will not be very, very numerically right, okay, empirically right. So this is one gap again. What were some of the questions that are there? So, like we discussed, what market gaps did they identify? They wanted to work on the sustainability part of it. Then, what potential strategies can Greenbox use to reduce production cost? Again, the from what I mean, I'm sure all of you have your thoughts, and please feel free to share, unmute yourself, and discuss this. But from where I can see, as of now, to reduce their production costs, grants are something that they can depend upon because scaling is not a very big, is a very potent option here. Then how would you validate customer demand for such a product? That again requires a lot of market research and a pilot that they must be running. And can this model be scaled beyond small businesses? Again, yes, but it will take a good amount of time, right? So this is the caselet that I want to leave you guys with and the questions therein. The key takeaways from today's session, like I said, are opportunities exist in solving real problems. Research and validation are key. Use frameworks to analyze potential ideas, and learning from failures is crucial. Thank you. That's where I want to end my presentation. Stop sharing. Okay.
Propose the vote of thanks, please.
Does anyone have any questions before we move on to the vote of thanks? or any points of discussion?
Dear participants, do you have any questions about the session? You can ask. I think, so, on behalf of TTC Management Center of Dr. Bhavasar Ambedkar, Marathwada University, we would like to thank this agency of honor, Honorable Dr. Arjeeta for enlightening us by focusing on what is business opportunity identification and relation and defining opportunity successfully. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank director and the coordinator of GDC and MCC for giving this opportunity. And last but not least, I would like to thank all the participants of this short-term course for listening the session patiently. So once again, thanks to all of them.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the session. And thanks to the university for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
सो पार्टिसिपेंट लेक्चर हो चुका है ना, तो आप लीव कर सकते हैं।
Can we leave, sir?